Chapter-981 This moment. Lu Han didn't see the golden light and falling objects that he should have when killing a hostile target, which means that Sarutobi Hiruzen was not killed immediately. Although he lost his ability to protect himself at that critical moment, the monkey demon rushed came out to block Jinghong Peerless's attack for him. Jinghong Peerless did not hit Sarutobi Hiruzen, however, the group attack after the Thunderball broke out will definitely hit him. Even if he is not killed directly, he will be seriously injured and dying. The lightning burst only lasted for a second, and then the light began to weaken. It disappeared after a breath. Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a scorched earth. He was already lying on the ground, motionless, and his limbs and other parts were scorched black, but he was not dead. Because the eighth demon was lying on top of him, protecting his torso. The clothes on the eighth demon have been turned to ashes, the hair on his body is scorched, and he seems to have turned into a black ape. He is injured, but he doesn't seem to be worried about his life. This guy is really too hard to kill. Jinghong Peerless, the power of it can't kill it in seconds. Everything happened so fast. Konoha ninja standing in the distance reacted and quickly approached for rescue, and Namikaze Minato just opened his eyes for less than 2 seconds. He still couldn't move. He was not good at Sage mode. If he moved directly, if so, the physical energy, mental energy, and natural energy will be out of balance, and the consequences of backlash will be very serious. Lu Han moved. The blink of an eye, he rushed in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The ape demon tried to stop Lu Han like a madman. Lu Han couldn't lose enough chakra to bless the body magic power. Thousands of knives per second, the limit exploded, and after only 3 attacks, he would go crazy. The ape demon blasted out. Namikaze Minato moved. Golden lightning flashes. No, want. In fact, Namikaze Minato's speech rate was ultimate, but he was even faster. Before he could finish his sentence, he rushed directly to Lu Han. Lu Han almost chopped Sarutobi Hiruzen into pieces, but was caught. The outburst of Big Ball Rasengan pushed back. Namikaze Minato is crazy too. Because Lu Han had already shown his determination to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen, Namikaze Minato tried his best to stop Lu Han's attack, and then directly used countless golden lights to bomb Lu Han back and forth with various attacks. At the same time, a ghostly figure approached the seriously injured Sarutobi Hiruzen, grabbed Sarutobi Hiruzen and ran away quickly. It's Musashi. Konoha Anbu Root Organization Leader. Futon Wind Style, the art of flower rain cutting. The lotus is in full bloom. Countless wind blades are flying around. Sarutobi Hiruzen was also in attack range, but he was taken away by Musashi. Namikaze Minato reacted extremely quickly. At the same time as the terrifying aura appeared, he threw Hiraishin Kuei into the distance. He turned into golden lightning to avoid the attack, but he could no longer delay Lu Han's footsteps. Lu Han directly terminated the flower and rain cutting technique, and threw out Hiraishin Kunai with extreme strength. Kai. Hiraishin has caught up with Musashi and Sarutobi Hiruzen in an instant. Lu Han appears, and the waterfall is raining. While Musashi looked horrified, he twisted his body and threw Sarutobi Hiruzen out of Lu Han's attack range. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was seriously injured and dying, suddenly flew out like a cannonball, but he also avoided Lu Han's fatal attack. Puchi. The blood mist rises. Ah! Musashi let out a scream. Although he threw Sarutobi Hiruzen out, he himself had no chance to avoid Lu Han's attack. He was hit by the rain of waterfall knives, and his right arm was chopped into a bloody mist. Lu Han didn't even look at him, and went after Sarutobi Hiruzen again. The golden lightning can't catch up with Lu Han. Because the Hiraishin Kunai thrown by Namikaze Minato is not as fast as Lu Han's Hiraishin Kunai. Even if Namikaze Minato's Hiraishin technique surpasses Lu Han, it is useless if the coordinates can't catch up with Lu Han. The King Kong Rui stick flies and catches up with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Lu Han chased in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen and was once again blocked by the ape demon, but this time, he only blocked it for a moment, because while it was transforming, although its defense was stronger, its control became worse, and Luhan was blocked by Luhan. It blew out in one go. It was this moment of obstruction that made Namikaze Minato chase behind Luhan. Spiral Flash Super Wheel Dance and Roar 3 styles. Another strongest attack. In fact, Namikaze Minato knew very well that he was not the opponent of the person in front of him at all, and he didn't want to defeat Luhan. He went crazy and just wanted to hold Luhan down. It only took a little time. At this moment, all the Konoha ninjas around here are moving. They are all rushing to save Sarutobi Hiruzen. But the area of the battlefield is very large. They were all on the edge of the battlefield before. Even if it is a cage-level powerhouse, it will take a certain amount of time to rush over. Luhan is also crazy. So, can't kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. No, absolutely not. Because of Hiraition's relationship with Kunai, it was difficult for Luhan to knock out Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato would come back in an instant every time. No matter how powerful Luhan was, it was useless. The possibility was too low. Waterfall knives surrounded Luhan, blocking all of Namikaze Minato's attacks. At the same time, Luhan used the chakra in his body to the limit, and while using the strange power of the body technique, he forcibly activated another technique, Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode. Lightning shines. Raiden Thunder Style Armor now. This moment, Ape Demon rushed back, grabbed Sarutobi Hiruzen and run wildly. This moment, Namikaze Minato is still attacking frantically, and the ultimate move is not over yet. This moment, several cage-level powerhouses in Konoha are about to meet Sarutobi Hiruzen. Maybe 2 or 3 seconds will be enough. This moment, Kaharu Udatane has finally returned from the Tomb of Heroes and appears on the edge of the battlefield. This moment, Luhan ignored Namikaze Minato's attack. With Raiden Thunder Style Armor, body activation hard to resist Namikaze Minato's mad attack, the ultimate waterfall knife rain forcibly breaks through. Luhan broke through Namikaze Minato's surrounding attack in an instant, resisted an unknown number of attacks, and went out and approached Sarutobi Hiruzen. 1 second. Luhan caught up with the monkey demon, and with a jolt, Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse and the dance of the early fern started. Countless huge bone spurs sprang out, and the ape demon jumped up with Sarutobi Hiruzen to dodge, but he couldn't adjust his body well in the air, and the old force had just gone to the new force, and Luhan flashed to his side. Lord Hangwang, don't! Kaharu Udatane, who finally realized what happened, exclaimed hysterically. Poochie! The knife light crossed Sarutobi Hiruzen. Blood splashed. Chapter 0982 The Death of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Namikaze Minato pursued Luhan with all his strength, and the violent attack moved with Luhan's movement. When Luhan's knife slashed through Sarutobi Hiruzen, there was a brief pause, causing Namikaze Minato to chase after Luhan again. Blood rush. Raiden Thunder Style Armor on Luhan's body, which had been attacked for an unknown number of times, was finally broken by Namikaze Minato. Luhan waved the sword light to protect himself again, and the back and forth of the golden lightning crashed into the bone spur forest below. Everywhere they went, everything was destroyed. The bone spur forest formed by the dance of early ferns quickly retracted to the ground. Namikaze Minato was still attacking Luhan frantically. Thousands of Konoha ninjas were approaching rapidly. The strongest ones were already 100 meters away. On the other side, Hitachi Taishuo was also on the way. Approaching at super speed, Kaharu Udatane's hysterical cries linger. A sudden sharp shout interrupted everything and stopped everyone. Sarutobi, quote. The ape demon was carrying Sarutobi Hiruzen, and the voice was extremely shrill. It took Sarutobi Hiruzen to the ground. Sarutobi Hiruzen was about to fall, but it was forced to maintain a standing posture. Sarutobi Hiruzen had been seriously injured before, burned his limbs and severely damaged his body. And now, there is a huge wound on the front of his torso, which is neatly cut from the left shoulder to the right rib cage. His heart has been ruptured, and his organs have also been damaged. Gushing out. Namikaze Minato stopped and turned around abruptly. Konoha ninjas who came running seemed to have seen something horrible like a nightmare. The closest people were all stunned and subconsciously stopped, and some stopped slowly, staggering directly on their knees. Looking sluggish. The distance, Kaharu Udatane covered his mouth with his hands, his eyes filled with tears, and he was extremely panicked. Everything has stopped. Only Sarutobi Hiruzen was struggling. He wanted to stand up straight, kicking his legs again and again, but he felt that he had lost all strength. His charred legs were kicking weakly, and the ape demon was holding him by the side, trying to help him stand up straight, but its hands are trembling. It is obviously powerful, but it can't support the thin Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's not that it can't support it, but it can't stop Sarutobi Hiruzen from leaving. Someone. Ape demon raised his head and roared in grief. Namikaze Minato was stunned for a while and then reacted, turned into golden lightning and flashed to Sarutobi Hiruzen's side, hugged Sarutobi Hiruzen, quickly brought him down, made Sarutobi Hiruzen lie flat, and then. He didn't know what to do. The wound is too big. Moreover, almost all the major organs in the internal organs were broken, including the most important heart. Lord Hokage. Lord Hokage. Medical Ninja. Come on, Medical Ninja. God. Lord Hokage, you hold on. More and more people rushed to Sarutobi Hiruzen's side, trying to save him, and the hoarse cries kept coming up, interweaving the entire battlefield. It seems that everyone has gone mad. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the leader of the party who has been in charge of Konoha for more than 3 decades, is the greatest existence to most Konoha ninjas. He is the guardian of Konoha. He is a wise man who can solve puzzles. He is a stern dictator. He is a kind and generous elder. He is a judge of absolute justice, and he is the god of Konoha. No one can watch Sarutobi Hiruzen die. No one can accept watching Sarutobi Hiruzen pass away. The sky is falling. Ninjas are running back and forth. There are strong Konohas who want to bring the slow medical ninja to Sarutobi Hiruzen faster, and there are ninjas who leave the battlefield directly and want to pick up the precious medicine that was placed somewhere. Many medical ninjas have tried to save him and heal the wounds on his body. Almost every second, stronger medical ninjas crowded into Sarutobi Hiruzen. Loud, noisy, crying, cursing, roaring. Luhan was like an outsider, standing at the last stop, turning his head to look in the direction of Sarutobi Hiruzen, looking at the group of hysterical people. At a certain moment, he felt that killing Sarutobi Hiruzen might be a mistake, but he immediately rejected the idea again. Perhaps for most people in Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen is really the patron saint. But for Luhan, the enemy is the enemy. He didn't make another move. Just watch. Because he knows that Sarutobi Hiruzen is no longer saved, even if Tsunade, who has the name of a medical saint, is here, he is unable to save people. Perhaps, if Uchiha Madara is here, with the power of yin and yang, coupled with Senju Hashirama's cells, maybe he can really save Sarutobi Hiruzen. However, no, if Uchiha Madara is not here. Ninjas kept running past Luhan, one after another. Luhan couldn't see Sarutobi Hiruzen anymore, because there were too many people around Sarutobi Hiruzen, 3 floors inside and 3 floors outside. Sarutobi Hiruzen did not die immediately because his life force was too strong. The middle of the crowd, Namikaze Minato knelt on the side of Sarutobi Hiruzen's head. He wanted to dodge temporarily to make room for the medical ninja, but Sarutobi Hiruzen had already grabbed his hand, shaking and holding on tightly. Several medical ninjas are busy around Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't care about this. He looked at Namikaze Minato. The corners of his mouth trembled slightly. He seemed to want to say something. Outside the crowd, Luhan held the blood-stained sword of astonishment, still maintaining his previous posture, looking in the direction where Sarutobi Hiruzen was. Bang _. The golden light erupted among the crowd, followed by nearly 500 falling objects, which turned into golden light and flew into Luhan's body. Surrounding Sarutobi Hiruzen was quiet at this moment. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Lord Hokage. Fire, shadow, big, people. Heart-piercing cries rushed into the sky, igniting everyone's grief. Luhan heard too many voices. At this moment, he wanted to plug his ears, and he was very annoying. He wanted to tell everyone what kind of person your venerable Lord Hokage is secretly. But he couldn't say it. People are dead, everything is gone. Chapter 0983_last words. In the crowd gathered on the inner 3 floors and the outer 3 floors, Namikaze Minato maintained a squatting posture, and put his ear to Sarutobi Hirazen's mouth. Sarutobi Hirazen's life was gone, and the medical ninjas who were busy around them all stopped, and they felt that Sarutobi Hirazen's life was gone. Sounded, first a ninja with the strength of the super elite Jonin made a shrill cry, and then it seemed to be everyone. Namikaze Minato couldn't hear clearly, because there were buzzing sounds in his mind, and his consciousness was a little confused. In fact, Sarutobi Hirazen did not too old. In his 50s, he still has enough energy, and his strength has not regressed. But he just died. Namikaze Minato couldn't understand, because he didn't die at the hands of a powerful enemy, but at the hands of the most famous legendary powerhouse in Konoha's history. What kind of grievance did they have between them? Why did it so absolutely? Namikaze Minato didn't know. He was almost unable to think. Hysterical shouting, manic scolding, crying that couldn't tell what he was talking about. There are too many sounds around, constantly affecting Namikaze Minato's mind. He raised his hand tremblingly, stroked Sarutobi Hirazen's wide eyes lightly, and made Sarutobi Hirazen close his eyes. He slowly stood up again. The senior ninja had already taken off his cloak and slowly put it on Sarutobi Hirazen's body, covering the body. Kaharu Udatane is on the side, her body is shaking, she can't control herself, her eyes are full of blood, tears are falling like rain. No one is more complicated than her at the moment, sad and contradictory, even if she is used to seeing death, even if she wisdom is superior, but at this moment, she can't see right from wrong, can't distinguish between enemy and me. What did Lord Hokage say? Kaharu Udatane whimpered, his voice very low. Namikaze Minato heard Sarutobi Hirazen's last words, and he was the only one who heard it. Kaharu Udatane knew that it was very important information. It might be about the choice of the next Hokage. As a powerful ninja standing at the pinnacle of the ninja world, Sarutobi Hirazen told himself the grasp of life and death is keen and precise. He knows that he cannot be saved, and he will definitely explain it. He said. Namikaze Minato made a weak voice, holding Hiraishin Kanai's hand subconsciously, his knuckles turning white. Say what? Kaharu Udatane glanced at him. Namikaze Minato was still staring at Sarutobi Hirazen's body, his throat moved, and tears had run down his cheeks. He said, the 4th generation Hokage. I see. You don't understand. Namikaze Minato suddenly turned his head to look at Kaharu Udatane, and his emotions suddenly became extremely emotional. What? Kaharu Udatane froze for a moment. Isn't it you? Sarutobi Hirazen told Namikaze Minato the 4th generation of Hokage, apparently indicating that Namikaze Minato should succeed Hokage, which is also the most reasonable arrangement. There is consensus. He said. Namikaze Minato looked at Sarutobi Hirazen's body again, his voice hoarse and trembling, 4th generation Hokage. Cold light. Huh. Kaharu Udatane was shocked, and then burst into tears again. The 4th generation Hokage cold light. 4th generation Hokage cold light. 4th generation Hokage cold light. At the last moment before his death, Sarutobi Hirazen chose to let go of all personal grudges with Han Guang. No one knows his mental journey, what he thought and what he remembered before dying, but this is his decision. He knew that Konoha would be precarious after his death. His cooperation with Uchiha Madara would also be terminated because of his death. The disadvantage of Konoha in the Ninja World War would be further expanded. Namikaze Minato did not have the ability to turn the tide. He only had strength, but he has no experience in managing the ninja village or controlling the overall situation, and no one can guarantee that Namikaze Minato will be able to save Konoha from fire and water. Only one person has this ability. That is the king of the era who had been in charge of Konoha for nearly 3 years, and would have pacified the most tragic Second Ninja War if he hadn't died suddenly, the greatest legendary ninja in Konoha's history, Han Guang. But he was the one who killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. I don't agree. Homura Mitokado, who was standing beside Kaharu Udatane, said suddenly, and he heard the conversation between the two. I disagree. I disagree. No, I disagree. There were many ninjas around, all of whom were closest to Sarutobi Hiruzen. The senior Konoha ninja who heard Kaharu Udatane talking to Namikaze Minato couldn't accept it, even if it was Sarutobi Hiruzen's deathbed. Except for these people, the other ninjas in Konoha didn't hear or know about it. They couldn't hear it. It was too noisy around. I don't know how many ninjas were crying. It shouldn't be like this. Namikaze Minato murmured. ... Luhan was still standing in the original position, holding his knife and staring. Hitaki Taishuo had already run to his side, standing behind him with complicated eyes. He was a person with clear grievances, and he didn't feel anything because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, but the reaction of the surrounding Konoha ninjas touched his heart. Meow. The shadow cat appeared out of thin air on Luhan's shoulder. Its big round eyes glanced around. The purple fluff on its body had exploded, and it sensed danger. The noise from Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly became much quieter, and then it quickly turned quiet. In unison, a large group of ninjas turned to look at Luhan. More and more eyes fell on Luhan. Those were a pair of complicated eyes, surprised and complicated, numb and confused, sad and hated. Call. I don't know who moved first. Countless figures came out of the crowd, and then almost all the ninjas moved. Thousands of figures jumped dozens of meters to the right of Luhan and to the left of Luhan. He ran to the side and stopped behind Luhan. These Konoha ninjas moved extremely fast. None of them even had genin. The weakest was chunin, and the ratio of jonin was extremely high. They surrounded Luhan in a big circle, but no one dared to do it first. Because they are not eligible. If you want to do it, unless Namikaze Minato is activated, or ordered by Kaharu Udatane, everything will be detonated. Luhan glanced around, shook the knife in his hand, and spoke in a low voice. Master Kaharu, do you want to fight? Chapter 0984 you go. Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead, and the top two advisors are Kaharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado. According to Konoha rules, in this case, Kaharu Udatane will temporarily take charge of Konoha in a short period of time. Although Homura Mitokado has the same qualifications as her, the advisor ranks and the job experience is not as good as that of Kaharu Udatane. That is, when Luhan served as Hokage's deputy, Kaharu Udatane served as Hokage's assistant. At present, there are more than 1,500 ninjas surrounding Luhan. The number is not large, but the quality is extremely high, and their strength cannot be underestimated. This is the background of Konoha, and they are all here. In Luhan's eyes, most of them are Yuhi names, only a few people still maintain their orange names. Those people stand among a group of Yuhi names, which are extremely eye-catching. Kaharu Udatane is an orange name. Namikaze Minato is Yuhi name. It is also the name of the big Yuhi present. The strongest one. Kaharu Udatane's body is shaking. She is recalling everything in the past. She is thinking about how this scene happened today, and who is the bad guy at this point. There are many things that are not right or wrong. Namikaze Minato held Hiraisen's back tightly. His breath was shaking unsteadily. If there was no Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words, he would have already done it. It was because of that last word that he dared not and could not do it directly. The decision rests with Kaharu. In the hands of Udatane, between Konoha's future and his revenge for Sarutobi Hiruzen, he doesn't have the courage to choose. Kaharu Udatane scans the audience, looking at the faces, the eyes. Lu Hanyao looked at Kaharu Udatane, took out a Hiraishin kunai, let the shadow cat hold it, took off the mask, lowered his head and pinched his eyebrows, then looked at Kaharu Yuditane and said, Lord Kaharu, decide, if I think these people can stop me. In fact, Luhan could have left directly. Taking advantage of the chaos just now, it was easy for him to leave, but he couldn't take Hatake Taishuo away, so he could only wait, until now, for Kaharu Yuditane to make a decision. Seriously, he doesn't want to kill anymore today. With a young face, with an indifference that is both familiar and unfamiliar, Kaharu Yuditane looked at him, lost for a moment, and she thought about the past. He was still so young, still so invincible. In the silent battlefield, the murderous aura had formed a frenzy, and it was about to drown Luhan, but Luhan seemed to be detached from the outside world, unaffected, and silent like an abyss. You're still the same as before, and we're getting old. Kaharu Yuditane said, his hoarse voice spread with the wind and entered Luhan's ears. It's been 10 years, and things are different, aren't they? Luhan replied indifferently. Kaharu Yuditane was silent for a moment, then became extremely manic, screaming in a hoarse voice, Why? Why did you have to kill him? He dedicated his life to Konoha, why? Why? You and I know that, don't you? Luhan clenched his knife and stared at Kaharu Yuditane. You really want me to tell? Kaharu Yuditane suddenly calmed down again, his eyes straightened, his body swayed, as if he was about to fall, and Homura Mitokado supported her by the shoulder. Kaharu Yuditane seemed to have stopped breathing. After a while, he suddenly took a deep breath, raised his hand weakly, and said with difficulty, Go, let's go. Luhan's expression loosened, and he put the knife into the sheath. Master Kaharu. How can I let him go? He's a murderer. Master Kaharu. Surrounded by screams, they looked at Kaharu Yuditane with unbelievable eyes. They couldn't understand why Kaharu Yuditane would let this cruel murderer leave, even if he was the one he used to be. Kaharu Yuditane understands everyone's mood, but very few people understand her because they don't know Sarutobi Hirazen's last words. Kaharu Yuditane knows that they can't say this last word, otherwise it will definitely lead to greater backlash. She understands with Han Guang's strength, she understands that if a fight really starts, not many of these ninjas will survive. This is the foundation of Konoha. Kaharu Yuditane can only make such a decision. After all, Sarutobi Hirazen had put down his hatred before his death. Let's go. Luhan put on his mask again, and turned and left with Hatake Taishuo. Hatake Taishuo had already put on a fighting stance, but he didn't relax until now, and followed Luhan with the blade of Kurigakure. The shadow cat was holding Hiraishin kunai in his mouth and disappeared without a trace. Boom! The ground in front of Luhan suddenly burst, and a figure rushed out fiercely from the ground, and the knife light slashed towards Luhan's neck. Sneak attack. It's Sarutobi Hirazen's die-hard ninja. The top of the head shows Anbu Zero Squadron Ninja, codenamed Qingyuan. Rasengan flashed on Luhan's hand, and he flicked his hand. Boom _. The high-quality sword in Qingyuan's hand was directly smashed, and the explosive power of Rasengan knocked it out. Luhan didn't want to kill, because he really didn't want to kill anymore today. As an Anbu Zero Squadron ninja, Qingyuan was not killed so easily. He flew out with the shockwave and donated blood. You don't have a next chance. Luhan glanced at him, kept walking, and continued to walk out with Hatake Taishuo. Qingyuan, who was flying upside down, suddenly twisted his waist, black light flashed on his body, and he disappeared without knowing what secret technique he had used. A ghostly figure appeared directly behind Luhan's side. It was Qingyuan. Luhan had put his hand on the handle of the knife. Knife light up. Condensed again instantly. Luhan returned the knife to the sheath, and Qingyuan's body, which was broken into 2 pieces, fell to the ground behind him, and the blood mist was scattered. Call! Call! In the surrounded crowd, 2 figures appeared at the same time. One was from Anbu Zero Squadron, code-named Danmu, and the other was a squad leader belonging to the Garrison Corps, named Sarutobi Burning Light, all of them were elite Jonin. Lu Han stopped, and his voice sounded at the same time, I won't show mercy. Kaden, fire style. Sarutobi Zuoyao stopped suddenly when he was 10 meters away from Lu Han, and quickly hand-sealed. Lu Han disappeared instantly, and the sword light flashed. Lu Han appeared behind Sarutobi Zuoyao, the tip of the knife dripping blood. Sarutobi Zuoyao kept the hand-seal movement, his body stiffened, bloodlines appeared on his neck, and his head fell off. Danmu killed Lu Han, and at the same time, dozens of ninjas rushed out at the same time. Chapter 0985 _ The situation is out of control. Danmu should be a relatively young ninja, although wearing a mask, but when Lu Han was in charge of Konoha, Anbu Zero Squadron did not have such a person, nor did Qingyuan before. Obviously, they were all 10 after Lu Han died. In the years, he grew up to become a ninja of the Zero Squadron. Cold light is extremely powerful. Everyone knows Konoha. Danmu also knows, he is very clear, so he has the intention of death in his heart. At this moment, he is not afraid of death. Sealing technique, 5 illusions sealing. Danmu completed the hand seal while approaching Lu Han. When Lu Han's knife slashed through his body, he also patted his hand on Lu Han's body. Unfortunately, it was not photographed. The huge gap in strength made him want to really hurt Lu Han, and he had to rely on luck. Danmu is down. Another ninja came to Lu Han, this time there were 4. Blood mist exploded on Lu Han's body, turning into blood-colored lightning, and blood splattered wherever the knife light reached. What are you doing? Stop. Stop all of you. Do you hear me? This is an order. Kaharu Udatane shouted angrily. She was heartbroken and sad. These ninjas who dared to attack Hangguang, not only Sarutobi Hiruzen's diehard, his strength is not weak, every death is a great loss to Konoha. Others wanted to join the siege of Hangguang, but they were hesitant to hear Kaharu Udatane's voice. People who really don't care about their own lives are rare after all. A cavity of blood won't solve any problem. Lu Han's shot has been ruthless. He warned before that it was considered polite. This is a one-sided massacre. Just a few people are not enough to pose any threat to Lu Han. There is no pressure at all, and there is no cage yet. Level powerhouses are hot-headed. Cage-level powerhouses know the gap between themselves and Sarutobi Hiruzen best. It is an insurmountable moat, and Sarutobi Hiruzen died in the hands of Han Guang, so they understand that even if everyone here goes together, they will have to pay a heavy price. Only possible to get revenge for Sarutobi Hiruzen. They all understand Kaharu Udatane. Kill him. Avenge Hokage-sama. Kill him. Let's go together. Let's go together and avenge Hokage-sama. I don't know who was the first to shout excitedly, and they got responses in all directions. More and more ninjas rushed out of the crowd, but they were not as rash as those ninjas before. They consciously organized formations and moved closer to each other. Bastard! Stop it! Stop it! Kaharu Udatane was already crying, and his screams were broken. Namikaze Minato's body was trembling all the time, and he held Hiraishin's kunai tightly. At this moment, he moved. Hiraishin kunai dodged into golden lightning, and in the blink of an eye, he rushed into the group of Konoha ninjas. The golden light flashes back and forth. 1 second. Namikaze Minato stopped and landed less than 10 meters away from Lu Han. Konoha ninjas around who wanted to besiege Lu Han had fallen to the ground, and they were all knocked down by Namikaze Minato. Minato-sama. Minato-sama you. Konoha ninjas who fell to the ground all looked at Namikaze Minato with disbelief, and more Konoha ninjas who wanted to rush out of the crowd also stopped at this moment. Lu Han also stopped. On the ground around him, there were more than 40 corpses of Konoha ninjas, all of them were fatally stabbed, and no one was spared. You are not opponents, you will increase casualties, think about your family, you are doing this, there is no value. Namikaze Minato said in a low voice, you get out of the way, I am here. Lu Han, who was surrounded by blood mist, looked back at Namikaze Minato and said indifferently, you come. I admit that I'm not your opponent yet. Namikaze Minato stared at Lu Han with blank eyes. But it's only now, it only takes 3 years, no. In 2 years, I will surpass you. The corners of Lu Han's mouth twitched, wondering if he wanted to curl his lips, and asked after a while, so what? 2 years later, the Valley of the End. Namikaze Minato exclaimed, we will compete and fight for life and death, how about that? Lu Han raised his brows and grinned, I think you should be more mature. After all, you are going to be a Hokage person, 2 years. I can kill you now, why wait 2 years? You think I should let you grow up, and then give you a chance to kill me? Are you afraid? Namikaze Minato said immediately. Huh, shocking the law. You're just scared. Believe it or not, I'll kill you now. You won't do that, you look around you, if you really think Konoha can let you. Namikaze Minato's voice stopped abruptly, because Lu Han moved and rushed in front of him in an instant. The knife light fell like a silver river, hitting Namikaze Minato on the head. Don't, Kaharu Udatane shouted in shock, but Lu Han acted too fast, she couldn't say a complete sentence at all. The terrifying light of the knife blasted a huge pit on the ground. Namikaze Minato escaped with the technique of Hiraishin, but Lu Han released his blood rage and caught up with Namikaze Minato with the technique of Hiraishin. Namikaze Minato's Hiraishin technique has reached ultimate, and his master is higher than Lu Han's, but Lu Han's kunai is faster, and his abilities such as dynamic capture, reaction awareness, and melee fighting all surpass Namikaze Minato's. In this case, Lu Han's killing was easy. In front of Lu Han, Namikaze Minato's weakness is obvious. Of course, he can also directly leave the battlefield with the Hiraishin technique. If he places Hiraishin kunai in other positions in advance, he can escape, but only if he wants to escape. Two streamers flashed back and forth on the battlefield, entangled. Go. Let's go together. Damn it, kill him. Avenge Hokage-sama. Thousands of Konoha ninjas moved. The situation is out of control. Shadow. Lu Han suddenly called out. Meow. The shadow cat appeared next to Namikaze Minato in an instant, and Namikaze Minato flickered frequently with Hiraishin's technique, and the shadow cat followed him like a shadow. As a time-space ninja, it moved in a short distance, and Namikaze Minato would not be faster than it. Hiraishin kunai holding Lu Han in the mouth of the shadow cat. Lu Han flashed 3 times in a row behind Namikaze Minato, and finally seized the perfect opportunity, slammed down. Chapter 0986-War. There is no right or wrong after war, except for the first cause. Lu Han and Sarutobi Hiruzen is irresolvable, so Lu Han killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. This is not a war, but a personal grudge, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is the 3rd-generation Hokage of Konoha village. When most of the ninjas in Konoha want to fight for him when it comes to revenge, it becomes war. Namikaze Minato is not a villain, whether in the original book or in this world. He is positive and bright, but in Lu Han's eyes, he is a Yuhi name. From Lu Han's point of view, he did nothing wrong, but from Namikaze Minato's point of view, he seemed to be right. There is no right or wrong. But since he was going to die, then one should die. War is killing people. This knife may be the fastest knife Lu Han has ever slashed in his life. It does not form a unique knife light like a rainstorm like a waterfall. It is just a knife. For Namikaze Minato of Master Hiraishin, whether it is an instant knife or an instant thousand the knife, if he can dodge, but if he can't dodge, he can't dodge. He obviously couldn't escape. Because Hiraishin was still in his hands, he threw Hiraishin out, and then moved forward with Hiraishin. It took time. Lu Han didn't give him this time, and he didn't even have a chance to get rid of it. Another Hiraishin kunai placed somewhere in Konoha village. But Lu Han felt that he would not leave. The flaw in Namikaze Minato's heart is very big, otherwise he wouldn't die in the original book. And now in this situation, once he leaves the battlefield, retreats without a fight, and becomes a deserter. I guess he won't be able to pass the test in his heart. A knife that almost rips through space. Namikaze Minato, who was experienced in combat, fell into an ice cave. He couldn't see the situation behind him, and he didn't even have time to be terrified, but he had already smelled the breath of death, and he had time to make a move, that is, stretch his right hand back slightly. The palm of his hand is facing Luhan, who is wielding the knife with all his strength. The chakra ball swirling and twisting in the palm of his hand instantly expanded. Big Ball Rasengan. Big Ball Rasengan with a knife, and the terrifying power erupted as soon as the two of them saw it. Luhan disappeared before being hit hard by the shock wave. He lost a lot of Hiraishin on the battlefield and moved casually, but Namikaze Minato no such opportunity, because Big Ball Rasengan blew up on his hands. Boom _ Ball with a diameter of several dozen meters shone in the middle of the battlefield, and Namikaze Minato was blown away. Luhan blinked on the ground 100 meters away, but did not immediately chase down Namikaze Minato. He should have been seriously injured, but on the other side of the battlefield, Hitachi Taishuo was in great trouble, and the excited Konoha ninjas had begun to besiege him. Luhan's intention to kill Namikaze Minato was not urgent, but he was very concerned about this direct disciple. Hitachi Taishuo has hacked and killed more than 10 people, but he was attacked by a combination of ninjutsu. He is very strong, and he is also the kind of pervert. It can't be killed, but if there are a few hundred people, thousands of people. If Luhan doesn't save him, he will die. Call. Luhan flickered beside Hitachi Taishuo, grabbed Hitachi Taishuo's shoulder, and ran away to dodge. Boom. Rumbling. Hundreds of ninjutsu hit the same position. Under the superposition effect, the burst energy caused a slight earthquake, and the terrifying shock wave swept all around. Even many Konoha ninjas were affected by the shock wave because they could not react in time, and some were injured. There is even death. Luhan took the danger that Hitachi Taishuo temporarily escaped, stopped for a while, and his feet shook. Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse, Dance of Early Fern. Once again launched Shikatsumyaku Dead Bone Pulse Kekkei Genkei's strongest group attack. Countless huge bone spurs burst out from the ground, forming a huge and secret bone spur forest. All Konoha ninjas within the attack range, all jumped one after another. However, some of those with slow responses and weaker ones suffered from bone spurs, most of them were injured, and many died. Luhan was buying time for himself to take care of Hitachi Taishuo. In the white bone forest, Luhan folded his hands again, his breath exploded, the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes spun rapidly, and the rays of light shot up into the sky, condensing at a height of tens of meters, forming an energy giant wearing armor and holding a sickle. The third stage form, the mature body Susanoo. Hitachi Taishuo is also under the protection of Susanoo. Hitachi Taishuo is not weak. In fact, even without Luhan, if there is no Namikaze Minato to restrain him, he may have the possibility to break through and escape, but Luhan has to be cautious. He came here today to save Hitachi Taishuo. He even killed Sarutobi Hiruzen and a lot of people in Konoha. If Hitachi Taishuo is still dead in the end, Luhan must vomit blood. Kaden, Fire Style. Raiden, Thunder Style. Doden, Earth Style. Kaden, Fire Style. Kaden, Fire Style. Ninjas are small in front of Susanoo, but on the other hand, Susanoo is like a living target in front of ninjas. It is so huge that it can be hit with closed eyes. Hundreds of ninjas release ninjutsu on Susanoo at the same time, destroying them. Power is terrifying. Luhan waved a huge sickle, and Susanoo's huge body also began to move. Luhan didn't try to break through, but rushed back and forth. He seldom showed mercy to the enemy. He once guarded Konoha and everything in Konoha from life to death. Those are the past, and now, whoever attacks him, he will kill. A mess. Susanoo again and again, while the scythes were reaping the lives of the besieging ninjas at the same time. Not all Konoha ninjas were present at the scene. There were more than 1,500 people in total. About 300 or 400 people never really joined the battle. Most of them were cruising around the battlefield and pretending to be. Among them, dozens of them were Anbu ninjas. All stop! All stop! Why do you stop me? The huge Susanoo turned around again, the huge sickle swept across, but stopped suddenly. Inch before the blade is Kaharu Yutate's neck. Stop, don't do this, don't do this. Kaharu Yutane kept shaking his head, shaking his head. Chapter 0987_closing. Boom, 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 boom. The last wave of ninjutsu hit Luhan's Susanoo, and then they all stopped because the huge sickle Susanoo was holding was already on Kaharu Yutate's neck. Let go of Kaharu-sama. Despicable. Don't hurt Kaharu-sama. The angry shouts sounded one after another, and all the Konoha ninjas who surrounded Luhan did not dare to act rashly. Kaharu Yutane had been a high-level advisor since the end of the First Ninja World War, and his high status and prestige were unquestionable. Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead, and Kaharu Yutane will temporarily take over the Hokage. Although this group of hot-headed ninjas can disregard Kaharu Yutate's orders and attack Hangwang, they have to accept the threat of Kaharu Yutane being hijacked, and further stimulate Hangwang. If Kaharu Yutane was indirectly killed, no one can afford this responsibility. Stop, Hangwang, your lord, don't fight anymore, don't. Kaharu Yutane is shaking his head, shaking. What she fears now is not how many people will die in Konoha today, but if Hangwang really the full power of the fire, and the bloody battle with Konoha to the end, after today, will Konoha decline? Sarutobi Hiruzen's death further widened Konoha's war disadvantage. If Konoha loses a large number of masters today, even if the powerful Konoha main battle army can maintain the situation on the front line, as Konoha in the rear, there is a possibility of collapse. If this happens, Tsuchikajinoki, the third generation of Iwagakure village, will definitely not let it go. This kind of opportunity, even Yagura of Kurigakure village, Rasa of Sunagakure village, they may be able to use it with all their strength. Kaharu Yutane suddenly regretted because she understood the meaning of Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words. It doesn't matter if Sarutobi Hiruzen really let go of his hatred, what matters is that he wants the ninjas in Konoha to know that he has let go of his hatred. If Kaharu Yutane said Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words at that time, it is the Hokage successor who announced Sarutobi Hiruzen's choice to kill Hangwang, the murderer who killed him, then the two sides will definitely not fight. Even if most of the Konoha ninjas here can't accept Sarutobi Hiruzen's last words and don't recognize Hangwang, they will be affected by these last words and temporarily put aside their thoughts of revenge. This case, Hangwang may not be able to become Hokage, but at least he can leave here directly and not die one more person. Sarutobi Hiruzen is known as the greatest Hokage since the establishment of Konoha. It is not unreasonable, even if he knows that he is about to die, he is still thinking about the future of Konoha, because he can't say much, so he can only use in the simplest terms, to avoid the Konoha civil war after his death. Unfortunately, Kaharu Yutane didn't think about that. It's too late to say now. Because when Kaharu Yutane says it now, it will give the impression of telling lies, and saying it just to keep the two sides from fighting is likely to backfire. Luhan stared at Kaharu Yutane and slowly moved away the huge sickle. Call. Two figures appeared around Kaharu Yutane at the same time, an old man and a middle-aged man, both of them were Kaharu Yutane. They grabbed Kaharu Yutane's shoulders and wanted to take Kaharu Yutane away from Luhan, but Kaharu Yutane threw his arms and didn't let them move themselves. Hangwang, sir, today, that's it, I don't want, really, don't want, to end. Kaharu Yutane took a deep breath, speaking intermittently, as if he was out of breath. She's orange, always has been. I didn't want to fight. You should know why I killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. From the day Danzo died, it was doomed. We will have this day. Luhan calmly said. The huge Susanoo quickly became smaller and collapsed, disappeared. Lord Kaharu, you have to understand that some people don't need your rescue, it's not right or wrong. Kaharu Yutane clenched his hands all of a sudden, took a deep breath, suddenly took a step, and shouted around, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Isn't it enough? Isn't there enough dead people? Do you think Lord Hokage wants you to do this? You don't know anything. I don't want to die again. If you insist, then start with me. Koharu Udatane pulled out the kunai from his waist. Although it was referring to Luhan, it was actually equivalent to threatening all the Konoha ninjas who surrounded Luhan. The meaning is very simple. If you want to hit me first, if you want to die, I will die first. The battlefield fell silent, and a sense of suffocation pervaded. Many ninjas whose eyes were full of bloodshot emotions calmed down at this moment. In fact, they all understood why Koharu Udatane wanted to stop this battle, because the cold light was too powerful. Killing him would kill many people, and some advanced the ninja knew more about the grievances between Hongguang and Sarutobi Hiruzen, which was related to the death of Uchiha Leong, the death of White Fang, and the secret cooperation between Sarutobi Hiruzen and Uchiha Madara. These things, as long as you hear a little bit of wind, you can guess some insider stories. Some ninjas weakly lowered their arms holding weapons and stepped back. Some ninjas simply dropped their weapons, crouched down and held their heads without saying a word. Don't come back again. After today, Konoha is at odds with you. Koharu Udatane landed Han with his knuckle fingers. Don't come back, never. Don't come back. Luhan put the knife into the sheath, turned around and left without saying a word. Hatake Tai Shuo followed Luhan closely. This time, Luhan didn't encounter a sneak attack, and he didn't encounter any obstacles. It's not that those Konoha ninjas really gave up, but because Koharu Udatane, the woman standing at the pinnacle of Konoha's power, threatened too effectively. Luhan walked to the edge of the battlefield and stopped suddenly. Thousands of Konoha ninjas all looked at him, and when they saw him stop, they all reacted in an instant, and some even went directly into battle. Luhan turned his head and looked to the southwest. The insight map showed that the big Yuhi name was there, surrounded by a group of ninjas. It was Namikaze Minato. He was not dead, but was seriously injured. Namikaze Minato, it's your luck that you didn't die today. Koharu-sama doesn't want to die today, you remember to thank her. 2 years later, I'll be waiting for you in the Valley of the End. Leaving this sentence behind, Luhan led Hatake Tai Shuo into the forest. His figure gradually disappeared, and no one heard Luhan's last words. I wish you lived till that day. Chapter 0988_Cold Light killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. In the original book, Namikaze Minato died in October of Konoha's 48th year. Strictly speaking, he was not killed in battle, and Uchiha Obito at the time was not capable of killing him, but he still died. His character and the way he handled things, there are very big flaws in the game, which also makes Luhan unable to determine whether Namikaze Minato can really live to 2 years later. Although Luhan has completely disrupted the plot, after killing Sarutobi Hiruzen, he will go to Uchiha Madara to kill Uchiha Madara as early as possible, which may even directly affect whether Uchiha Obito can successfully inherit Uchiha Madara's will, but all this are not enough to be the basis for Namikaze Minato to escape. Historical inertia is frighteningly powerful. In the 37th year of Konoha, on March 16, a generation of the strongest, the most famous leader of the ninja world, Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third generation in charge of Konoha village for more than 30 years, fell in the forest behind Konoha village. On the same day, the legendary Konoha ninja, the strongest ninja during the Second Ninja World War, known as the King of the Era, Konoha Hongguang, was resurrected 10 years after his death and announced his return in the most shocking way. Cold light killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. After Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, this piece of information was discovered by scouts from various countries in the Country of Fire. At night, Konoha village, which had been in turmoil due to Sarutobi Hiruzen's death and Namikaze Minato's serious injury, welcomed many uninvited guests. When I got the news, I couldn't believe it for the first time, so I chose to sneak into the Konoha village to investigate. On the second day, all the foreign scouts who confirmed the information released the extremely precious high-intelligence Asuka ninja beasts in Konoha village, and passed the information to their respective strengths as quickly as possible. Another day passed, the 37th year of Konoha. On March 18th, the third day of Sarutobi Hirazen's death, the news spread throughout the entire ninja world at the fastest speed, and thunder broke out on the ground. The ninja world has set off unprecedented waves. Somewhere in the ninja world, an underground cave. On the slate platform covered with animal skins, the ugly boy with scars on his face lay down in relaxation, blinking his eyes at the water droplets dripping from the raised rocks above the cave. The elderly ninja stood aside, there was light on his hand, repeatedly and slowly passing over the leg of the ugly boy. Uchiha Madara's treatment for Uchiha Obito was phased and never ended. In fact, Uchiha Madara has the ability to directly cure Uchiha Obito, but he doesn't want to do it, because once Uchiha Obito is cured quickly, then Uchiha Obito has a reason to have a chance to leave. Uchiha Madara didn't want him to leave. Madara is very aware of his own situation. He is about to run out of oil, and his destiny cannot be violated. Even Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, cannot save him, so he chose multiple successors. Before Uchiha Obito, Madara's number one successor was the child who had his Rinnegan transplanted, and now he has changed his mind. Uchiha Obito is not necessarily better than the child named Nagato. One of the main reasons why Uchiha Madara chose him, his surname is Uchiha. Obito is the most important part of his current plan. He is not ready yet, so the treatment for Obito can only be delayed first. The harsh wind suddenly appeared and approached rapidly. Uchiha Madara frowned slightly and turned to look at the entrance and exit of the passage at the end of the cave. The white figure dashed in, barely touching the ground, rushed to Uchiha's side in a floating manner, and stopped abruptly. White Zetsu with no expression on his face and dim eyes. He is one of many avatars of White Zetsu. It is impossible for White Zetsu to collect information on the whole world. Most of them rely on these avatars. Normally, Zetsu's clone would not come to Uchiha Madara directly. The intelligence gathering was done at the main body White Zetsu. What's wrong? Uchiha Madara asked hoarsely, and the light in his hands dimmed. While Uchiha Madara was questioning, Uchiha Obito turned over and jumped off the stone platform, and walked out unhurriedly. He didn't care what Uchiha Madara was doing secretly, and he never eavesdropped on curiously. 43 hours ago, Captain Konoha Anbu attacked Sarutobi Hirazen without a front. He failed and fled into the Konoha Back Mountain Forest. 42 hours ago, the 3rd district in the southwest of the Back Mountain Forest of Konoha Village. White Zetsu's clone voice was very mechanical. Said, the cold light appeared, fought with Sarutobi Hirazen, and killed Sarutobi Hirazen on the spot. Uchiha Madara froze for a moment, her eyes straightened. Uchiha Obito, who was walking out, also stopped. After the death of Sarutobi Hirazen, about 1,500 ninjas from Konoha besieged Hangwang. After fighting for a while, they were stopped by Kaharu Utatane. Konoha killed nearly 200 ninjas on the spot, including 27 elite Jonin, and injured nearly 700 people. Namikaze Minato was killed. The cold light was severely injured, and the right hand was seriously injured, and it may be difficult to heal. Uchiha Madara's expression had turned into a surprised, blank look. It all came so suddenly. Be caught off guard. Sarutobi Hirazen actually died. Uchiha Obito suddenly turned around and looked at Uchiha Madara and White Zetsu's avatars, with his mouth open, but also dumbfounded. He doesn't care about Sarutobi Hirazen, because by comparison, Namikaze Minato has taken over his whole heart. Namikaze Minato is his teacher. Exactly. What happened at that time? Uchiha Madara asked in a steady voice. He couldn't imagine how Hangwang could kill Sarutobi Hirazen in Konoha village. If it's okay to say outside, Hangwang is stronger than Sarutobi Hirazen, but in Konoha village, all the ninjas in Konoha are the help of Sarutobi Hirazen, all his helpers. How can it be? The specific situation still needs to be investigated. The White Zetsu clone replied. Currently, number 19, number 7, and number 6 are investigating this matter near Konoha village. I will report back first. Uchiha Madara frowned subconsciously. Some questions, not about the situation of Konoha, but about the collection and transmission of intelligence. What about number 1? Why didn't you report to him first? Madara asked, number 1 being the main body White Zetsu. I can't feel him. His breath disappeared 2 days ago. The clone replied. Chapter 0989 tell him intuitively. Body White Zetsu and the avatar White Zetsu. It is because of this connection that the avatar's White Zetsu in all parts of the ninja world can find the main body White Zetsu and inform the information as soon as they get useful information. Uchiha Madara rarely gets the information sent by the clone White Zetsu, because the intelligence, thinking ability, and expression ability of the clone White Zetsu are inferior, and he does not have the ability to integrate intelligence and calculate complex information. This time, the avatar White Zetsu came to report directly, or the information was not collected completely. There are 2 possibilities: either this is the meaning of the main body White Zetsu, or the avatar White Zetsu can't contact the main body White Zetsu. It's the latter. Can't you feel it? Uchiha Madara's eyes widened and his pupils shrank. This reaction was even bigger than when he heard the news of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. Yes, the last person who felt the breath of number 1 was number 3. 2 days ago, number 3 was active in the Country of Thunder, and number 1 was also near Kumogakure village in the Country of Thunder. According to number 3, number 1's breath before disappearing, there were violent fluctuations. He died. Can't be sure. He died. Uchiha Madara repeated again. This sentence was not a question, but a statement. While saying this, Uchiha's eyes quickly became bloodshot, his fists were clenched, and the flesh on his face trembled unnaturally. Go crazy. The third one. Since the resurrection of Han Guang, White Zetsu died 3 times in a row in just 1 month. It's the cold light. Uchiha Madara has no doubts. It's just the cold light. Tell him intuitively. It is cold light. Only Master Hangguang has the way to kill White Zetsu. Only cold light. He has the ability to find White Zetsu and kill White Zetsu at the first time. Uchiha Madara's expression gradually distorted. He has never hated a person so much. Perhaps this is the first time in his life, so hatred. The importance of White Zetsu to him at this stage is self-evident. When the original White Zetsu died, Uchiha Madara made new White Zetsu twice in a row, and accumulated and cultivated Senjuhashirama cells in Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. 90% has been consumed. That is to say, he no longer has the ability to create a new body White Zetsu. Even if he uses all those cells, he can only create a new White Zetsu whose ability is far worse than the previous body White Zetsu. Uchiha Madara's breath slowly spread out, not violent, but extremely cold, cold to the bone. Uchiha Obito, who hadn't gone far, took a few steps back and barely stopped. Where is Han Guang now? Madara asked suddenly looking up. I don't know. White Zetsu cloned. Madara showed an extremely annoyed expression. He was used to it and asked White Zetsu this kind of question, but in front of him this is just a clone. Even if other clones detect the movement of Han Guang, this clone will not know. Number 1, no one would report this kind of information to him. Black Zetsu, he's in a Megakure village, get him back, quick. Madara said quickly. Yes. White Zetsu took the lead and turned to leave. Wait. Uchiha Madara suddenly stopped him again. Sir. White Zetsu turned back. Uchiha Madara's expression was stiff, his eyes flashed, and he waved his hands again. Go, nothing else. In fact, he has too many things to explain to others, about Kumogakure village, about Konoha village, about Hangguang, and the arrangement of Kurigakure village, but this clone has limited ability. Uchiha Madara can't explain too many things to him at all, he can only wait for Black Zetsu to come back. White Zetsu's clone had already left the cave, and Uchiha Madara was still standing there, with a gloomy expression on his face. Unprecedented killing intent is churning in his body. He has already conceived a series of plans. In his opinion, Hengguang killing Sarutobi Hiruzen is a failure. His break with Konoha will lead to his complete isolation. Iwagakure village has a grudge against him. Sunagakure the village hated him. The Kurigakure village hated him. And now Konoha also hated him, leaving only one Kumogakure village in the 5 major ninja villages. The Kumogakure village can indeed be his backer, but in the face of pressure from the other 4 major ninja villages, even if the 4th generation of Head Raikage is his disciple, it is not necessary to give him shelter. When the whole world wants him to die, then there is no reason for him not to die. But Uchiha Madara was a little reluctant to let Hongguang die. Because he sees the hope of immortality in Hongguang, Uchiha Madara's biggest problem at present is not the death of White Zetsu at all, but himself, his aging, his lifespan. If Hongguang can solve this problem, then the Eye of the Moon no more problems with planning. Lord Madara. A sudden voice interrupted Uchiha Madara's thoughts. Uchiha Madara turned to look at Uchiha Obito. I want to go back to Konoha village to see. Uchiha Obito said, look at the teacher, I just heard from you that he is seriously injured. Oh, Uchiha blinked slightly, and then seemed to think of something. A strange light flashed in his eyes, and he returned to calm. You are still very weak, you won't live long if you leave here, you know one can get back to Konoha. Quote. Can't you? Uchiha Obito's eyes dimmed. It's not impossible. Uchiha Madara paused for a while, and seemed to think for a while before saying, I will find someone to take you back to Konoha village. The Land of Thunder, the Western region. On the mountain path, 2 figures moved rapidly, one after the other, dashing towards the Kumogakure village. It has been 2 days, and Luhan and Hatake Taishuo have not yet arrived at Kumogakure village, mainly because they are not in a hurry and always stop and go. It's noon, let's have something to eat. The figure in front suddenly slowed down, and then gradually slowed down, turning from running to walking. Teacher. Hatake Taishuo also slowed down, took 2 more steps and walked side by side with Luhan, took out food from his bag and handed it to Luhan. Luhan shook his head and refused. Hatake Taishuo could feel that Luhan had something on his mind. Since he left Konoha, he had been uneasy, and he had already guessed what Luhan was thinking. Teacher, if you're worried that you won't be able to explain it to your sister-in-law, you can say it's because of me. It's my responsibility. If I didn't sneak up on Sarutobi Hiruzen, I wouldn't. You sneak attack on Sarutobi Hiruzen. Luhan suddenly turned his head to look at Hatake Taishuo. Chapter 0990-Quarrel. Hatake Taishuo's attack on Sarutobi Hiruzen caused the war and eventually led to Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, but Luhan didn't know that the Shadow Cat had a chance to tell him. But after Luhan left Konoha, he sent the Shadow Cat back directly. There was news from Kumogakure village, so I didn't have the chance to say that. Sarutobi Hiruzen violated the agreement between us. For so many years, no matter what he asked me to do, I would not object. This ninja war was provoked by him. He was the decision maker, and I was the executor. I killing some damned people, I did it because of his promise to me, but he. Hatake Taishuo told Luhan some past events. He has always believed in Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen asked him to perform some shameful tasks and killed some innocent people, he did not resent anything in his heart. He understood Sarutobi Hiruzen very well, and looked at it from the perspective of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The life and death of individual people are no longer important. Those aren't even sins. Until, Hatake Taishuo knew that Akatsuki was revived by the cold light, but Sarutobi Hiruzen teamed up with Uchiha Madara to deal with the cold light. Everything has changed. Hatake Taishuo felt like a fool, being played around by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen's betrayal made him ugly, and the things that were once shameful have become sinful. Teacher, am I wrong? Hatake Taishuo finally asked. You are right, but you are impulsive. Luhan replied, you are not Sarutobi Hiruzen's opponent. Even if it is a sneak attack, killing him depends on luck. If you succeed in assassinating, it is accidental, and failure is inevitable. Make a plan and then act. But I understand you, because my tolerance for betrayal is lower than yours. Lu Han was a little emotional. He originally thought that it was Sarutobi Hiruzen who prepared everything and attacked Hitachi Taishuo that led to the war, but the reality was the other way around. A day later, and now, Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead. The two walked along the mountain road. Teacher, mistress, I can explain. Hitachi Taishuo hesitated again. Let me say first, I can tell mistress all the shameful things I know, and she will understand. Lu Han glanced at Hitachi Taishuo, then paused for a moment. We'll talk about it when we arrive at Kumogakure village. Did not refuse. Because this matter was really tricky for Lu Han. Without any psychological preparation, Tsunade learned of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. God knows how she would react. Although she had broken with Sarutobi Hiruzen, the feelings hidden in the heart of people could not be wiped out. She followed Sarutobi Hiruzen to practice at the age of 6. Leaving Konoha at the age of 28, Sarutobi Hiruzen influenced Tsunade for at least 20 years. Lu Han is confident about his place in Tsunade's heart, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is not an unrelated person. To Tsunade, he is an important person. Two people who were important to her, one of them killed the other. Even if Tsunade understood what was right or wrong, he would be confused and contradictory. There is always a conflict between reason and emotion. Lu Han didn't want Tsunade to be sad because of this, and he didn't want to have a rift with Tsunade because of this, so he made very careful arrangements for this matter. Let the Shadow Cat go back to Kumogakure village first, not to inform Tsunade, but to inform Xiao Ai. Let him hide the news first. Don't let Tsunade know the news of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. Lu Han wants to explain the situation to Tsunade. In fact, he has not thought about it. How to say. One more question, but only a small one, and that is Orochimaru. This guy really wants Sarutobi Hiruzen to die. How would he react when he got the news? Lu Han believes that he and Tsunade will never become enemies or strangers because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, but Orochimaru is not easy to say. Sarutobi Hiruzen is his pro-son. The reason why Orochimaru is black is completely. He did it himself. The ghost knows what his current state of mind towards Sarutobi Hiruzen is. Kumogakure village, in the middle of the mountain, secret meeting room. A total of 6 people attended the meeting, all of whom were high-level officials of Kumogakure village, and Xiao Ai, as Hokage, sat on the main seat. The meeting has been going on for nearly 6 hours, and the brawl continues. Just 6 hours ago, Xiao Ai received the highest level of emergency information from Asuka, and learned that Sarutobi Hiruzen had died at the hands of Han Guang. I repeat, Han Guang must leave Kumogakure village. He is the source of disaster. He will bring disaster to Kumogakure village. We cannot shelter his family. Han Guang is recognized as the #1 powerhouse. If he can join Kumogakure village, it will not be a bad thing for us. Confused. Han Guang has too many enemies. If he hadn't killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, nothing would have been a problem. We joined forces with Konoha, and the world could be at war. But the problem is that he killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, in front of everyone's eyes. Konoha won't let him go. Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Iwagakure, all of them are his enemies. If our Kumogakure village is besieged by the 4 great ninja villages because of this, it will be destroyed. Just get rid of his family, so we can get together and leave, and we Kumogakure can stay out of it. More than 10 years ago, Han Guang acted without any taboos and merciless actions. He did almost all the shocking events of the Second Ninja World War, but at that time, Konoha was his backer, and we were Konoha's allies. That's why he can be majestic to the end, until the accident happens, but now it's different, completely different. I dare say that Cold Light will not survive for a year. Lord Hokage, I hope you don't be emotional. You must understand that you are not only a disciple of Han Guang, but also our Hokage. You also shoulder the responsibility of guarding the Kumogakure village. The lives of tens of thousands of people in the Kumogakure village can't be compared to a single one. Is it cold? You can't say the same thing. We, Kumogakure, are founded on faith. We can't give help in the snow, but don't fall for it. When did I say I'm going to get in trouble? I've been emphasizing that the village of Kumogakure should stay out of the way. The fierce quarrel never stopped. Xiaoai sat on the large chair with a big horse on his shoulders. His face was expressionless and he didn't say a word. He hadn't spoken for a long time. Chapter 0991 Since ancient times, loyalty and filial piety cannot be both. Xiaoai is very contradictory. Hongguang is his mentor, and the teacher is in trouble. Since he has the ability, he should help as much as possible. However, as the fourth generation of Hokage, he is obliged to maintain the safety of Kumogakure village. Since ancient times, loyalty and filial piety cannot be both. This sentence is suitable for Xiaoai now. Zhang said that he is loyal to Kumogakure village. He is responsible for Kumogakure village. Filial piety means that Hongguang is his teacher, and he can't just ignore the teacher's difficulties. Now, no matter what he decides, he will be criticized, which is painful, and he is afraid of the cold light and cold heart, and the fear of involving the village of Kumogakure in the war. In fact, Xiaoai tends to protect the teacher's family. There are a total of 6 people in the conference room. Except for Xiaoai, there are 5 people left. 3 of them are advisors, the commander of the Kumogakure village garrison army, the first main battle army commander of Kumogakure village. Among the 5 people, the only one who does not oppose Xiaoai, it is Buzan, the commander of the first main battle legion. He is an old man in his 60s, older than the late third generation Hokage. When Laoai was alive, he would call him Big Brother, and his words were very important. Buzan's character is very similar to that of Laoai, but he does not have the shrewd side of Laoai, and lacks the shrewdness. In Buzan's heart, faith may be more important than life. But he alone can't change anything. The other 4 high-level executives all believe that the Hongguang family should be allowed to leave, clear the relationship, and stay out of the matter. They are not wrong. They do not have any malice towards Hongguang, but they are afraid that Hongguang will bring irresistible danger to Kumogakure village. Sir Hokage, you said something. It's pointless for us to keep arguing like this. Sir Hokage, I hope you can think more about the village. We Kumogakure are not afraid of war, but this time the risk is not something we can take. This is not our hatred. Everyone was arguing, and finally all looked at Xiaoai. Xiaoai shook her shoulders slightly, as if she was a little tired from sitting. She moved her body, glanced at everyone, and lowered her eyes again. After a while, she said in a low voice, "What if I decide to protect the teacher's family?" The atmosphere in the conference room suddenly froze. Several people looked at each other, some expressionless, some ugly. Boom. The black and white-haired advisor slammed the table with his fist and said with a blank face, I understand your mood. You said that you want to fight. We will not back down. Even if we are the enemy of the world, we will still stand behind you. If it wasn't for your father, I would have died. I owe him, and I owe you now. But I still hope you can reconsider. Not for the few of us, but for the entire Kumogakure village. If we shrink our troops across the board, gather the population of the Land of Thunder, move the daimyo prefecture to Kumogakure village, and fight a protracted battle, we may not be completely defeated, but a lot of people will really die. If the third generation of adults were still there, he might have made such a decision, but this is different. Lord Hokage, you don't have your father's experience and connections. He can minimize the loss, and you can't. You are still young. Quote. It is undeniable that Xiaoai has only served as Hokage for a year or 2, and is only in his early 30s. Compared with Laoai, he lacks a lot. Xiaoai looked at the few people who had spoken one after another, and then bowed her head in silence, holding her shoulders and thinking for a while. I'll reconsider. The teacher hasn't come back yet. There may be new changes. Let's talk about it. Xiaoai couldn't make a decision. She paused and said, selection of scouts from each legion, forming a scout unit, and starting a comprehensive investigation of the dynamics of all parties in the world. Lord Buzan, you are responsible for this matter. Let's end the meeting. End of the meeting. Xiao Ai left the conference room with heavy steps. The others didn't move. They only started to walk out when they watched Xiao Ai go out. They all looked preoccupied. Sometimes they talked in a low voice, sometimes they shook their heads. An invisible cloud had already shrouded their hearts. Gufeng Mansion, the breeze is gentle and the sun is just right. The shadow cat jumped around the courtyard impatiently, at a very fast speed, and sometimes looked back and cast a disgusting look. The little black cat climbed on the chair in front of the house with an unhappy look. Shang Yingying cat, eyes full of resentment. Shadow cat doesn't play with it. Stop, little bastard. Xiao Ali was chasing Shadow cat, and he only tried his best with his physical skills, but he couldn't catch up. The Shadow cat was playing him, and he also recognized this kind of playing as a form of training. Uchiha Makoto came in with a vegetable basket on his back. He had just returned from shopping on the street. He crossed the backyard and met Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning at the door of the house. They were watching Ali doing speed training. Ali really worked hard. Uchiha Makoto smiled softly. Yeah, Han was still an idiot at this age. He worked harder than Han. Hyuga Luoning replied with a smile, while taking the vegetable basket from Uchiha Makoto. Tsunade was expressionless and didn't even look at Uchiha Makoto. Oh yes, I met Kushina just now on the street, Uchiha Makoto said, glancing at Tsunade. Tsunade really looked like he was eavesdropping. Did you talk? Hyuga Luoning asked, looking very concerned. Ask me if I live with you. I said yes, and she ignored me. She's still angry, the little girl has a grudge. Did you tell her we live here? Tsunade finally spoke up, asking Uchiha Makoto. I told you. Makoto nodded. Damn girl, you are so vengeful, don't come to see. Tsunade bit Kiba and muttered. A cold breath suddenly appeared. The weakest person in the courtyard was Jonan, who was aware of it for a moment. At the same time, he turned his head to look, and Ali, who had been chasing Shadow Cat, also stopped and turned his head in confusion. Orochimaru, whose aura was extremely unstable, appeared out of thin air in the corner, staring at Tsunade with Yuhi's eyes. He looks like this. Something went wrong. Tsunade frowned, his figure flashed to Orochimaru's side, and he quickly asked, what's wrong? The cold light killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. Orochimaru said coldly, teacher, he is already dead. Chapter 0992 It is true. What? The courtyard fell into an extremely disturbing and eerie silence. Tsunade stood there as if struck by lightning, staring at Orochimaru in a daze. He was completely stunned, and panic gradually appeared in his eyes. Everyone heard Orochimaru's words. Hyuga Luoning covered her mouth in disbelief. Uchiha Makoto's eyes widened and he didn't move. The only little Ali didn't respond very much. He raised his hand and scratched his head. He glanced at other strange reactions in the yard. He really had nothing to do with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Although he was born in Konoha, he was taken away by Tsunade in his infancy. And in his upbringing, Sarutobi Hiruzen was almost a transparent person. Tsunade rarely mentioned his teacher to Ali, and he talked most about her love story with Han Guang. Dad killed Hokage, Ali muttered, tilting his head to think. Children are always concerned about the reactions of adults. Because other people in the yard responded very strongly, Xiao Ali didn't dare to speak loudly. How did you know? Who told you that? Tsunade said suddenly, grabbing Orochimaru's shoulder excitedly. I overheard that the current Kumogakure executives have received the news from Konoha, but they are hiding it from us. In fact, I didn't believe it at first, so I asked a few more people with enough identities. The information is accurate. Kumogakure has begun preparations for total war. Quote. Orochimaru clenched his fists. He said that he had asked a few more people, but Xiao Ai had issued a gag order, so he must have used a special method to ask the information. At first, he did not overhear it. He was just hanging out in the Kumogakure village, going to places he couldn't have been, overheard some talk of some of the senior Kumogakure ninjas, and also saw the special military mobilization of the Kumogakure village. Tsunade's round eyes, the corners of her eyes were already wet, she still couldn't believe it, her eyelashes were fluttering, and her expression suddenly froze again, as if thinking of something. Call. Tsunade disappears in place. After an instant, the shadow cat standing on the fence of the flowerbed suddenly disappeared. Tsunade appeared next to the flowerbed, and then disappeared. She was catching the shadow cat, but as a time-space ninja, as long as the consciousness can keep up with the shadow cat, the speed is always beyond Tsunade. One cat and one person flickered in the courtyard more than 10 times in a row, and Tsunade finally shouted angrily, "Bastard cat, stop me." The shadow cat appeared on the eaves, looked at Tsunade innocently, and wagged its tail in a pleasing manner. "I'm asking you, what happened before you came back? Sarutobi Hiruzen, is he really killed?" Tsunade glared at Shadow Cat angrily. Shadow Cat came back 2 days ago. Tsunade asked about the situation on Konoha's side. The Shadow Cat only said that Hongguang took Hitaki Taishuo out of Konoha village and was rushing towards Kumogakure village. Tsunade didn't think much about it. Shadow Cat deliberately concealed the news of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, which was specially explained by Luhan. "Meow, meow meow," Shadow Cat called Tsunade, shaking his head. "You talk to me," Tsunade yelled. "Meow meow." Shadow Cat continued to play stupid. He said, "I don't know, don't ask me." The little black cat who had already stood up from the chair translated timidly. The shadow cat immediately stared at the little black cat. The little black cat shrank its neck and jumped off the chair, rushed into Uchiha Mikoto's arms and hid. "It's true, it's true." Tsunade staggered back 2 steps and muttered to himself. Shadow Cat didn't answer her question, but Shadow Cat's attitude said it all. How could the Shadow Cat not know? It knows, but it can't say it, so it said it doesn't know. If it can say it, the answer should be no, or yes, right. ... Reikage office. More than a dozen Kumogakure Anbu ninjas were standing at the desk, waiting for Xiao Ai's order. Xiao Ai buried his head behind the desk and wrote quickly. He was issuing a very formal transfer order. There was no major battle, but it was always on the defensive, with a large number of troops stationed on the frontier. Now that this matter has happened, the deployment of Kumogakure village on the border of the Land of Thunder must be fully adjusted. This, send it to the south. This, send it to the southwest. This, send it to. Every time Xiao Ai writes a scroll, it will be handed over to an Anbu ninja, who will send the order out as quickly as possible. Call. A mysterious figure suddenly appeared beside Xiao Ai, knelt down on one knee and said, "Sir Reikage, just found out that Guya, Rode, and Su were attacked, seriously injured and unconscious, and were left in the woods near the second training ground. Middle, has been sent to the medical department for treatment." Huh. Xiao Ai's writing hand suddenly stopped, her brows furrowed. The 3 ninjas Guya, Rode, and Su are all elite Jonin from Kumogakure village, currently serving in the Kumogakure scout unit. 3 elite Jonin were seriously injured and unconscious after being beaten silently. The problem is serious. A very powerful enemy has infiltrated the village of Kumogakure. "What did you find?" Xiao Ai asked in a deep voice. They have been forced to ask what. Very professional torture methods. The mysterious ninja said. "Check it out now, damn it." Xiao Ai's face darkened. A powerful enemy sneaked into Kumogakure, and even attacked the senior Kumogakure ninjas, asking for information. Could it be that Kurigakure, or Iwagakure, have already started? How could it be so fast? "Master Tsunade, you can't go in." "Master Tsunade, you." There was a sudden noise outside the door. Boom. Door was slammed open, and Tsunade entered the door aggressively, followed by Orochimaru, and several Kumogakure ninjas who were guarding the door also followed, seemingly unable to stop Tsunade who was about to break in. Xiaoai glanced at them, raised her hand to signal them to go out, and said to Tsunade, "Miss, you. Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead, right?" Tsunade asked straight to the point. Xiaoai's expression condensed. "I see." Xiaoai's expression already said everything. Tsunade stopped talking nonsense, turned around and walked out. Master, listen to me." Xiaoai rushed out from behind the table. "Protect Ali." Tsunade dropped the words and disappeared at the same time as Orochimaru. Chapter 0993_Teacher, Mistress has gone to Konoha. "Here, mistress, wait." Xiaoai rushed to the door, chasing the scent of Tsunade and Orochimaru, and disappeared in a single step. Deep in the village of Kumogakure, on the top of the mountain, Tsunade and Orochimaru appeared one after another, and the two of them kept walking, heading for the south of Kumogakure village. "Sister, wait a minute." Xiaoai chased after them, appeared behind the two of them, and shouted loudly, "Miss, where are you going?" "Konoha village." "Don't follow me." Tsunade responded without replying, and quickly distanced himself from Xiaoai. Teacher is coming back soon, are you waiting?" "Wait." Xiaoai looked away. Before she finished speaking, her voice became lower, because Tsunade and Orochimaru had already burrowed into the forest, and they didn't mean to stop at all. Xiaoai didn't stop it. He couldn't stop it. He couldn't be persuaded to talk with his mouth. If he did it, he naturally couldn't do it. If he dared to stop Tsunade's temper, Tsunade would dare to fight, and the nature of the fight would change. Damn it. Xiaoai's face was very dark, and she cursed in a low voice. She didn't know who she was scolding, and immediately raised her hand again. Lay. Sieve. A tall and thin figure appeared directly behind Xiaoai in the posture of kneeling on one knee, and said respectfully, "Sir Hokage. Follow Lord Tsunade. Follow her, just follow her." Xiaoai stumblingly said, he couldn't make a good arrangement, at least don't let Tsunade lose it. Yes. The tall and thin ninja known as Lei respectfully accepted the order, and then disappeared into blue lightning. Xiaoai's face was still ugly. Tsunade's identity made him unable to start. If it was Uzumaki Kushina, or Hongguang's son Ali, he would just hold it down. If he didn't let you go, he wouldn't let you go, but Tsunade is Hongguang. His wife, she is really many years older than Xiaoai. In terms of identity and age, she can be Xiaoai's elder. More importantly, there is that guy Orochimaru. Tsunade first with a human flesh bag. Tsunade can't kill him anyway, but Orochimaru is not sure. Now he is very worried. What will happen if Tsunade does return to Konoha village? At present, Xiaoai only knows that Hongguang killed Sarutobi Hiruzen and hundreds of ninjas in Konoha. Normally, this is already a deadly vengeance. Bad thing. What should I do? What should I do? Xiaoai paced back and forth anxiously. He couldn't solve this matter, only Hongguang could solve this problem. Lone Peak Mansion, shortly after Tsunade and Orochimaru left. Hyuga Luoning and Uchiha Makoto have already started cooking. They both look absent-minded and seem to have not recovered from the previous shock. The two and Sarutobi Hiruzen naturally have no feelings, but they were born in Konoha after all. Growing up in Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen had been the object of their reverence, and after all had some influence. Xiaoali began to play with the shadow cat again, and one person and one cat have returned to their heartless state. Call, 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 call. Figures appeared out of thin air around the courtyard. All of them were adult Kumogakure ninjas, wearing masks, from Anbu, Kumogakure village. Xiaoai finally appeared in the middle of the courtyard, not far from Xiaoai. Ah! Ali stopped, blinked and asked, "Brother, what is this for?" "Protect you," Xiaoai said with an expressionless face, and quickly entered the house. Hyuga Luoning, who felt a lot of breath outside, had come out of the kitchen and met with Xiaoai in the lobby. Xiaoai did not wait for Hyuga Luoning to ask a question, and quickly said, "Little sister, I have sent some more people here. And then if you don't have to, don't leave this house." "What happened?" Hyuga Luo Ning's face changed. My wife and Orochimaru have gone to Konoha. Without them, this place is not safe enough. Xiao Ai said. Originally, Kumogakure village was safe, but Hangguang killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, and all parties were eager to move. Maybe someone would sneak into Konoha village and attack Hangguang's relatives. Originally, it was nothing. Tsunade and Orochimaru are strong men. But now they are gone. Well, the security here is naturally greatly reduced. They went to Konoha village. Hyuga Luo Ning was stunned, going to the funeral. Little sister, is there any way for you to contact the teacher quickly? Is there any? This. No. This doesn't mean. Hyuga Luo Ning looked out the door and at the shadow cat who was playing with Ali in the yard. Xiao Ai looked back and slapped her forehead sharply. He knew that Shadow Cat can reverse the psychic cold light. The cold light was channeled away 2 days ago. Orochimaru said it, but he was in a hurry and didn't remember it. Yuying, you can reverse the psychic teacher, right? Xiao Ai rushed into the yard, eager to catch the Shadow Cat. The Shadow Cat flickered away, and made a meow, dissatisfied with Xiao Ai. Really? Answer me. Meow. You speak human words. He said yes. The little black cat crawling on the edge of the window acted as an interpreter again. Good. Good. You are now a reverse psychic teacher. Hurry up. There is an urgent matter. Meow meow. Meow meow. He said no, he couldn't channel his master at will. It's really urgent. Mistress has gone to Konoha, and I can't stop her. This matter can only be solved by the teacher. You must tell the teacher immediately, or else mistress may be in danger when she arrives in Konoha. Xiao Ai looked very anxious. The shadow cat tilted her head and looked at him. Her eyes were moving, looking like she was thinking. Its wisdom is high. It is capable of thinking, analyzing pros and cons, weighing right and wrong. Meow. Shadow cat responded. He said yes. The little black cat translated again. The shadow cat gave the little black cat a vicious look, gestured its paws in dissatisfaction, then took 2 steps back, raised its paws with a sense of ritual, and patted it forward. Meow. Bang. With a flash of white smoke, Lu Han, who was maintaining a running posture, appeared out of thin air. He subconsciously frowned. Lu Han put down his arms and stood up straight, glanced around, and asked the shadow cat, "Why do you psychic me?" "Teacher, mistress has gone to Konoha." It was Xiao Ai who spoke. Chapter 0994 I have no idea. Lu Han's expression froze, his pupils shrank, and then he blurted out with wide eyes, "Does she know?" Yes, yes, the lady knows. Xiao Ai nodded, a little embarrassed. The teacher killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. We had a meeting to discuss some issues. I made some military transfers, and some senior ninjas knew the inside story. Not long ago, we have 3 high-level ninjas who were seriously injured, and there are traces of torture on their bodies, which should be done by Orochimaru. He probably overheard something. It hasn't been too long since the 3 ninjas were injured, but after contacting each other, it's not difficult for Xiao Ai to analyze who did it. He wouldn't guess Tsunade, because Tsunade would never do such a thing. No need. If she really overheard something, she would definitely come to Xiao Ai directly to confirm. Lu Han's face became ugly, but Tsunade found out. He knew that Tsunade would rush to Konoha when he heard of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. Especially when she knew that the person who killed Sarutobi Hiruzen was her husband. Mourning is one aspect. On the other hand, she also wanted to temporarily avoid Lu Han. Her husband killed her teacher. It is impossible to accept this kind of thing calmly and completely. What can Tsunade do in Konoha? Maybe nothing can be done. But she still went. Because it was her teacher Sarutobi Hiruzen who died. How long have you been gone? Lu Han, who had recovered, asked quickly. For almost half an hour. I couldn't stop the lady. Xiao Ai said quickly, but I asked Anbu's people to follow the lady, and I had a way to quickly determine the location of the lady. Quick, take me to find her. Lu Han's voice sank. A few minutes later, only the palm-sized blue-gray bird ninja beast lifted off from the depths of Kumogakure village, burrowed into the clouds and dashed away. Thunder-style chakra, the name is very seen, Thunderbird. The speed of this kind of bird can be said to be the best in the ninja world, but because the combat power and intelligence are not high, but the speed is fast, it is not well known in the ninja world. Xiao sent to follow Tsunade is codenamed Lei. He is Kumogakure Anbu's fastest ninja and a super elite level powerhouse. Lei used to be the most trusted follower of the third generation of Hokage, and now he is also Xiao's close follower. The released Thunderbird. It's Lei's psychic beast. The reason why Rei is fast has a lot to do with this Thunderbird, and there is a special connection between the Raiden Thunder-style chakra of the two. It can find Rei. In the south of the Land of Thunder, among the undulating mountains, Luhan ran wildly, with electric lights flashing all over his body. Thunderbird is in the clouds above his head, leading the way. Luhan's speed is to surpass Thunderbird, but Thunderbird can fly regardless of terrain and walk in a straight line, while Luhan will be affected by terrain, going up and down yes, so Luhan needs to use a speed close to the limit in order to keep up with the Thunderbird. Just 20 minutes later, the Thunderbird swooped down from the clouds and into the valley ahead. Luhan threw out Hiraishin Kunai and accelerated into the valley. The wind was blowing, with a sour smell, a large forest in the valley was damaged, the ground was covered with cracks, and there were snake corpses. There was a short battle here not long ago. The tall and thin man wearing a mask was lying in the big pit, motionless, and the dark curse marks covered his whole body. The Thunderbird fell, stood on the edge of the pit, looked at the tall and thin man inside, and made a sharp chirping call. The wind was blowing, and Luhan appeared as a ghost in the big pit, beside the tall and thin man. He was Lei. There is still breathing, but he has lost consciousness, his body has been broken in 7 places, and the chakra has been sealed. Orochimaru did it. Obviously Orochimaru is unhappy with this guy's stalking. If this guy is stronger and reaches cage level, Orochimaru can't solve him quickly, and I'm afraid he won't be entangled with him, but this guy is too far from Orochimaru, and it is reasonable to be defeated quickly. Bastard. Luhan was a little annoyed. This guy will be sealed here by Orochimaru. Tsunade must have acquiesced. He really wanted to know, what exactly is Tsunade thinking now? Luhan can't just leave people here, it will make Xiao feel cold, if this guy has an accident. Luhan can't do such a thing, after all, both Xiao and this guy are helping him. Spiritual. Bang. Meow. Following the white smoke, the shadow cat appeared above Luhan's head. Shadow, follow Tsunade and immediately reverse channeling me when you see her. This task ends until you and I channelize each other again. Luhan said quickly. Meow. Shadow cat responded and disappeared out of thin air. Luhan picked up Lei, turned around and ran towards Kumogakure village. With Shadow Cat's ability, the possibility of tracking Tsunade is still very high. Tsunade must not have gone far, but if it is Luhan, as long as the initial tracking direction is a little wrong, the possibility of finding Tsunade in time is very slim. And the Shadow Cat is a super pervert existence that can move from Kumogakure village to Konoha village within an hour, and the efficiency of tracking and searching is at least dozens of times that of Luhan. Half an hour later, Luhan took Lei back to Kumogakure village. Xiao asked Anbu to take away the sealed Lei. Orochimaru didn't kill him. Lei was just injured and sealed, but he had no life worries. Xiao didn't say anything about it. Luhan asked Xiao to send someone to pick up Hatake Taishuo. He was on the road with Hatake Taishuo before and disappeared suddenly, so it would be better for someone to pick him up. In the Gufeng mansion, Luhan sat on the bench in the courtyard with a sullen face, motionless. Dad, you killed Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, didn't you? Xiao Ali ran over, tilted his head and asked. Yeah, Luhan responded with a nasal voice. Is he a bad guy? Xiao Ali asked again. For me, yes, Luhan replied. Then why did you go to Konoha, to go to Hokage's funeral? They are masters and apprentices. Then, Dad killed Mom's teacher and Mom left suddenly. Is she angry? Lu Han was silent, suddenly raised his head and glanced at Xiao Ali. Although he said that he was innocent, Xiao Ali was not an ordinary child. He understood everything and was asking on purpose. Looking down again, Lu Han shook his head, I don't know. Chapter 0995 Who are you? The human heart is the hardest to grasp. Even though Lu Han is very familiar with Tsunade, understands her temper, understands her preferences, and can even analyze Tsunade's meaning from Tsunade's eyes and gestures, but Sarutobi Hiruzen is dead. Lu Han can't imagine Tsunade's heart. Tsunade went to Konoha village. Lu Han wanted to find her in advance, but he didn't necessarily want to stop her from going to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen died, she went to the funeral, and she went to Matsuri. Lu Han didn't think he should stop him, he just didn't want Tsunade to have an accident. Dad, do you regret it? What? Kill Hokage. No regrets. Really? With his head down, Lu Han slowly raised his head, looked at Ali, and affirmed, really. Then why are you unhappy? Xiao Ali tilted his head and asked. This is a very complicated matter. Lu Han shook his head, he didn't want to say any more. Hyuga Luo Ning walked out of the house and walked to Ali's side to see Lu Han very well behaved. Do you want to eat? The food is already hot. Well, eat. Lu Han got up from his chair and walked into the house with his son and his wife. The meal was very quiet, but the atmosphere was not depressing, because Lu Han seemed to have something on his mind. Have Kushina been here these days? Lu Han asked casually, who had eaten a bowl of rice and handed it to Hyuga Luo Ning. No, Hyuga Luo Ning served Lu Han a meal. However, Makoto met Kushina on the street today, and even spoke. Kushina is still angry. Damn girl, I'll go to her after dinner. Lu Han said. In the southwest area of Kumogakure village, there is a fighting field suspended halfway up the mountain. Hey, yeah. The fiery Yuhi-colored figure flickered and moved around in the martial arts arena. His punches were like thunder, his legs were like lightning, and sometimes he shouted. The ninjas who fought against him were all 12 young ninjas from the Kumogakure village, ranging in age from their 20s to their 30s. The weakest were Jonin, and the strongest were elite Jonins. Today, there are many ninjas in Kumogakure village watching. Auntie teaches people. Usually there are only a few, but today there are 30 or 40 people, because Uzumaki Kushina does not know what the wind is, and has been fighting since noon until now, and has been with hundreds of people before and after. Kumogakure ninja fight. The really powerful Kumogakure ninja didn't make a move, so the current situation is still Kushina's victory. 18 minutes. 12 Kumogakure village elite ninjas were all knocked out by Kushina. Kushina is not feeling well today. Seems to be in a bad mood. Who messed with her? Kumogakure ninjas who had been beaten around the arena whispered. Humph. A bunch of rubbish. Kushina groaned while pinching her waist, with an unhappy expression on her face. She was really in a bad mood today, because she met Uchiha Makoto in the morning. She didn't understand why Uchiha Makoto came here. There was a kind of foreign land, the joy of meeting the old knowledge, but Uchiha Makoto actually lived with Tsunade and the others, which made Kushina very, very angry. Despair, despair, despair. The footsteps were neither light nor heavy. Behind Uzumaki Kushina, at the entrance of the winding mountain stairs, a figure slowly walked up. Kushina didn't look back. It seemed that there were people going up and down here all the time, and it was normal for people in public places. The voice of discussion on the martial arts field suddenly became smaller. The strong Kumogakure spectators shut up at almost the same time, while the young ninjas followed suit in confusion. People will be infected by the atmosphere. Just like in a noisy classroom, some students suddenly stop talking, which will affect others to stop talking, and then there is silence. The battlefield fell into silence. Kushina still pinched her waist, squinted her eyes and swept to the sides, and hummed, "What's wrong? Why is there a sudden silence?" Everyone looked in the direction of Kushina, to be precise, behind Kushina. What's wrong? Kushina was suddenly nervous, raised his hand and touched his cheek. Is there something on my face? Hey, you guys, why do you look at me like that? Lord Cold Light. Lord Cold Light. Some Kumogakure powerhouses widened their eyes and said that although they already knew about the resurrection of Han Guang, and they also knew that Han Guang killed Sarutobi Hiruzen 2 days ago, they were still shocked when they saw the real person, a generation of legend, still so young. Is it Lord Han Guang? Cold Light. Didn't he already? Some young ninjas who didn't know the secret information made different voices of doubt, all looking at Uzumaki Kushina. Behind them. Han Guang. What Cold Light? What are you talking about? What happened to me? Kushina was even more nervous. She didn't understand why these people suddenly mentioned that person's name. I have seen Lord Hangguang. Lord Hangguang, it's really you. Lord Cold Light. Some ninjas have already started to salute in the direction of Kushina and greeted excitedly. Hangguang is the idol and goal of a generation. This is in the scope of the entire ninja world, not just Konoha. Hangguang is the teacher of the 4th generation of Raikage. Nothing is known. Kushina was almost taken aback. Yeah, there was a nasal voice in response suddenly from the back of Kushina's side, and the young and thin figure walked to Kushina's side while responding, I'm here to find Kushina, you guys are busy, don't mind me. Kushina's eyes widened instantly, her expression horrified. A familiar voice. Familiar tones. Familiar breath. Turning back suddenly, Kushina looked at the clean and refreshing profile, and the expression immediately became more exaggerated, full of non-realistic horror style, completely like a ghost. Did you miss me? Luhan turned to look at Kushina with a smile. Kushina looked like she was about to suffocate, staring at Luhan, staring. Suddenly, he took a deep breath, his breath burst, and his fist slammed into Luhan's cheek with a wave of air. Snapped. As soon as Luhan raised his hand, he firmly caught Kushina's fist, suppressed Kushina's breath, and everything was calm. What are you doing? Luhan blinked. Who are you? Kushina asked. Chapter 0996 I don't want history to repeat itself. Kushina's eyes were frightened and helpless, because she already felt that the world was unreal, but it was so real, like a dream with self-awareness. That person had been dead for 10 years, but appeared in front of her eyes again, but the ninjas around seemed to know him and called him Lord Hangguang, and they didn't think he was dead. Everything becomes false. She launched an attack on Luhan, which was just the most normal reaction. In the intriguing ninja world, it is not uncommon to pretend to be a big man. Luhan squeezed Kushina's fist with his left hand, wiped Kushina's cheek with his right hand, squeezed lightly, and said with a smile, Damn girl, are you still angry? You. Kushina couldn't control herself. Her expression ultimate was exaggerated and she wanted to say something, but she couldn't say anything completely. She tried to withdraw her fist, but couldn't. Let's talk in another place. Luhan smiled, wrapping his arms around Kushina's waist, and disappeared in a flash. Kushina was powerless to resist. The two people in the middle of the martial arts arena disappeared, and the silence around was silent for a few seconds before it was broken by an incredible shout. The young ninja shouted loudly and asked, Is it really Cold Light? Isn't he dead? Who is that person? Most of the ninjas who know the inside story are speechless, and their minds are very complicated, because they know that the Cold Light will bring disaster to the Kumogakure village. But there were also ninjas who explained the surroundings, and even mentioned the shocking information. Cold Light has killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. This day is destined to be an unsettled day for Kumogakure village. The information that Han Guang killed Sarutobi Hiruzen directly caused high-level turmoil, and even Xiao Ai's status was threatened, and Han Guang appeared in front of the public in Kumogakure village, which caused a lot of uproar. The news of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death spreads all over Kumogakure. In fact, this information does not need to be kept secret. The reason for keeping it secret was to hide it from Tsunade at the time, but it is no longer necessary now. Afternoon. Stopped by the Kumogakure Anbu ninja with his hands outside the mansion. Like Konoha, Kumogakure Anbu is also directly under the control of Hokage, so no matter whether the visiting is a consultant or a legion commander, it is always the case. You can't be oppressed by your identity. Cold Light does not want to be disturbed. Perhaps they came to visit to persuade Luhan to leave Kumogakure, or perhaps to impress Luhan with Akatsuki's reasoning, but as for the stubborn drive away by open fire, no one dared to do so. Luhan is very aware of their thoughts. In fact, he has already planned to take people out of Kumogakure village, so as not to embarrass Xiao Ai, but not now, he is a little too busy. At dusk, Yuhisha hung in the sky like blood, and the afterglow of the setting sun pulled the shadows of the trees diagonally. Gufeng Mansion, in the courtyard of the back house. Okay, my legs are sore, how long will you hold me? You are in your 20s, not a little girl, so be careful. You dislike me, don't you? Humph, I'm too old, you always hugged me like this before. Withered yellow rocking chair, Luhan was like the legendary, quiet and beautiful man, reclining, holding Uzumaki Kushina in his arms. To be precise, Uzumaki Kushina was holding him, he couldn't push him away, it was like more than 10 years ago. Kushina's image at this time has overlapped with her when she was a few years old. To Kushina is not a complicated process. Because of A. Lee, Hyuga Luo Ning, and Uchiha Makoto, they said it was Cold Light, and Luhan said that if he was resurrected, there would be no other problems, but Luhan still has new troubles, that is, Kushina is relying on him. I can't get up, it's been an afternoon. Hyuga Luo Ning has come out of the house to see the situation no less than 10 times this afternoon, and now she looks at Luhan with a strange look. Dad, someone has come to see you again. Ali trotted over. No, Luhan replied 2 words. Oh, Ali trotted away again. The gloomy color flashed on Luhan's face. The reason why he suddenly and urgently recognized Kushina was that he was worried about Kushina's safety. Kushina was traveling outside his protection range, which made him uneasy. Now, the attitude of Kumogakure's executives has given him new concerns. His plan is that if Shadow Cat can't find Tsunade in one day, then he will go to Konoha, go outside Konoha village to block people, and block Tsunade in advance, which means that he will definitely leave Kumogakure village soon. In this case, Ali and the others must be handed over to Kumogakure village for protection. Luhan believed in Xiao Ai, but he was still worried about what happened to the top of Kumogakure. If Ali and others had an accident, Luhan didn't want history to repeat itself. Is it troublesome? Kushina suddenly whispered. The two chatted a lot in the afternoon. She already knew the current situation of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Tsunade. Trouble is not worth it, Luhan said, and then there was no more. Hyuga Luo Ning came out of the house again and frowned when she saw Kushina crawling into Luhan's arms. She finally couldn't stand it anymore and said with a smile, Kushina, it's dinner time, can you help me? Kushina looked up and looked at Luhan again, pouting. Obviously, she didn't want to help. Go, Luhan patted Kushina on the shoulder. Bad man, Kushina muttered, and then got up reluctantly. Suddenly, her eyes lit up again, and she said to Luhan excitedly, I know how to cook a lot of dishes. Would you like to try my craft? Yeah, Luhan nodded with a smile. It's delicious. Kushina was even more excited. She lowered her head and kissed Luhan on the cheek again, then rushed into the house like the wind and went straight to the kitchen. Alas! Luhan faintly heard Hyuga Luo Ning's sigh, and the footsteps were getting farther away. Late at night, the courtyard under the moon. After dinner, Luhan went back to the yard and sat down again. He did nothing but wait. The last person to talk to Luhan was Xiao Ali. After greeting him respectfully, he went back to sleep. They all knew what Luhan was waiting for, and no one would disturb him again. So, after midnight, Luhan's eyes darkened. Chapter 0997 _ He will kill you. Reverse channeling. The Shadow Cat lived up to Luhan's expectations. It took about 12 hours to finally find Tsunade and Orochimaru. It should not be wrong, because Luhan gave the Shadow Cat a strict mission order. In the quiet courtyard, Luhan disappeared into the chair out of thin air. After a while, Xiao Ali flickered to the empty chair, rolled his eyes, looked left and right, and ran back into the house. After dinner, Luhan once told him that a man must learn to protect his family, and he knew the time had come. Although there was no danger yet, he still ran to the place closest to the women to guard. The southwest of the country of thunder, the territory of the country of soup. The forest, by Lake on Izumi. Fire was burning, the flame of the orange yuhi was swaying in the wind, the crackling sound that only happened when the dry wood was burning sounded from time to time, and the sparks would gradually turn to ashes when they were far away from the flame. The skinned hare was dressed by Itachi, and was placed on the fire. The expressionless Orochimaru sat on the crossbar beside him, sometimes slicing 2 knives on the rabbit meat with kunai, but he never wanted to eat it. Tsunade sat curled up on the other side, holding his knees in his hands, staring at the flames, dazed. There was no sadness, no uncontrollable excitement on her face, and no lost soul. Only endless complexity. I can eat it, Orochimaru said coldly. Tsunade snorted back, but didn't move. Not that she's not hungry. She and Orochimaru ran here for 12 hours with all their strength. She's exhausted, and Orochimaru is also. If it wasn't for this, they wouldn't stop and rest here. However, she was in no mood to eat. Orochimaru didn't care about her. He put a large piece of roasted rabbit meat on his own, held it hot in his hand, took a big bite, and chewed it slowly and carefully. The cold light killed the teacher. Orochimaru chewed his meat, and there was no emotion in his tone. What are you thinking about? Nothing. Actually, I've always wanted the teacher, Sarutobi Hiruzen. He died. Because he's in the way, he's too selfish, and he won't let me go. Tsunade listened, still staring at the fire, but said nothing. But when he really died, I felt very sad. This kind of sadness, I have never experienced. Orochimaru looked at Tsunade after saying that, and then asked after a pause, are you sad? Sad. If life could be repeated, would you forgive the teacher for what he did? This time, Tsunade didn't answer right away, and she didn't know if Sarutobi Hiruzen would forgive her if Sarutobi Hiruzen was still alive. We followed the teacher to practice at the age of 6. You have no parents, and neither do I. The teacher taught us, guided us, and indulged us. What are you trying to say? Tsunade suddenly raised his head to look at Orochimaru. Orochimaru is not a hypocritical person, even to Tsunade who is like a relative. He may talk a lot, but he shouldn't say such things, it's very abnormal. Orochimaru and Tsunade looked at each other, stuffed the last bit of rabbit meat into his mouth and chewed it slowly, very slowly. What the hell do you mean? Tsunade asked again. Orochimaru finally swallowed the rabbit meat, wiped his mouth, and asked, do you hate cold light? No hate. Tsunade answered the question immediately. I don't hate it either. Orochimaru continued, if you have to choose between the teacher and the cold light, I hope the teacher will die. Orochimaru said this very cold-blooded. Tsunade understands why Orochimaru said this, because she knows that Orochimaru's 3-year contract with Luhan, Hongguang, is Orochimaru's hope for eternal life. But, Orochimaru changed his voice and continued, I don't want Hongguang who killed the teacher. It's contradictory, right? Tsunade raised his head slightly again, and looked at Orochimaru with a scrutiny. She knew Orochimaru too well. If she hadn't known Orochimaru since childhood, they were born and died together. Orochimaru had fought the knife for her, speaking from the heart. Tsunade is likely to eradicate this scum from the ninja world. But there is no if. The relationship between the two is like this, not relatives are better than relatives. Tsunade could imagine what Orochimaru was thinking at this moment. Orochimaru contradictory. Tsunade is also contradictory. But the contradictions between the two are different. What do you want to say? Orochimaru threw his hands at Tsunade. He didn't like Tsunade's eyes now. I'll remind him to be careful with you, Tsunade said calmly, then looked back at the flaming flames. She was even more conflicted, because many things were out of her control and irreconcilable. You are really his good wife. Orochimaru also looked back with a blank face, his palm directly into the flame. The curse mark automatically activated, and the darkness covered his hand. Ripped off a piece. The rabbit meat was burnt. Silence. I don't know how long. There seems to be an inexplicable alienation between the two, and the atmosphere is depressed. I have to remind you. Tsunade suddenly looked up at Orochimaru again, his eyes very serious. I'm listening, Orochimaru replied coldly, but didn't look at Tsunade, concentrating on eating the charred rabbit. Don't mess with him, you better, never ever, mess with him. Tsunade said while shaking his head at Orochimaru, I'm doing this for your own good. If one day he wants to kill you, you will die, he will kill you, and I can't save you. Orochimaru was speechless, motionless, suddenly turned his head and spat out the scorched rabbit meat, and looked at Tsunade. Why are you going back to Konoha? It's time to go back and see. The teacher is dead, no matter who killed him. It's time to go back and see, isn't it? Tsunade gently opened his hands with his knees clasped together, and picked up the beside him with his right hand. Branch, stabbed the fire, and said, moreover, many people were injured, and they were seriously injured, and they would die. I can let them die, a few people less. There was a glint in Orochimaru's eyes, and then he returned to normal, and he suddenly laughed again, a very reserved sneer, which he seemed to find ironic. He finally understood why Tsunade was as eager to get back to Konoha as he was, for the same reasons, but also for different reasons. You're going to make atonement for him, aren't you? He's not guilty. Chapter 0998_do something. Isn't it a sin? Orochimaru doesn't think so. You are fooling yourself. I don't. Do you know the humiliation you'll bring him by doing this? That's not humiliation. Women. Orochimaru stared at Tsunade and seemed to be reacquainting Tsunade. This was the first time he saw Tsunade's other side, which Orochimaru thought was unreasonable. What happened to the woman? Tsunade asked back. Women. Orochimaru smiled and became cold again. For more than 30 years, for a long time, I didn't think of you as a woman, and it wasn't until the day you got married that I suddenly realized. Now I finally understand that you are a woman, a married woman. Are you making fun of me? I'm just laughing at you. Whatever you want. Huh. Orochimaru sneered again, and then there was no more words. The rabbit meat on the fire had been roasted, giving off a pungent smell. Orochimaru directly picked up the tachi that was wearing rabbit meat, and shook off the burnt rabbit on it. Meat, took out a handkerchief from his arms and began to clean the knife. We're on our way in 2 hours, Tsunade said. Orochimaru responded nasally. Rustling rustle. A strange sound suddenly sounded in the woods on the north side of Lake Wen-Izumi. This sound was familiar to Orochimaru. It was the sound of snakes crawling. This was the warning set up by Orochimaru. He suddenly raised his head to look in that direction, and then disappeared. Chirp _. There was a roar in the woods, and under the moonlight, the dark shadows fell to one side. As soon as Tsunade stood up, he saw that Orochimaru, who was prancing, was chasing and killing a small little guy, only the size of a slap, and the moonlight illuminated its hair crystal clear. It was a shadow cat. Tsunade's expression changed. He ran 2 steps forward, stopped again, and shouted, "You can't hurt it." Meow. The shadow cat flickered continuously in the woods, dodging Orochimaru's attack, and another one disappeared. It appeared directly behind Orochimaru 20 meters away, meowing, and slapped its paw on the ground. Orochimaru turned around quickly, and the whole person turned into a shadow. Bang! The white smoke rose, and the ghostly figure appeared in front of the shadow cat. Orochimaru stopped abruptly, only half a slap away from the figure. The two faced each other, facing each other. Orochimaru's long black hair was shaking wildly in the wind, and there was no expression on his bloodless, extremely white cheeks. The two looked at each other. Luhan's hand had already grasped Orochimaru's blade. In his eyes, Orochimaru, which was originally an orange name, became Yuhi's name, then turned into an orange name, and then turned into a Yuhi name. Yuhi's orange flickered indefinitely. "What do you want?" Luhan asked, tilting his head slightly. Boom! The magic soldier Taidao village that was pinched by Luhan collapsed, and in this dark and silent night, the sound was particularly harsh. Orochimaru didn't answer Luhan immediately, but looked at Luhan and pondered for a few seconds before saying, "Misunderstanding." At the same time as he said these two words, Tsunade rushed behind Orochimaru and slammed Orochimaru back. With a pull, he stood between the two, separating the two. "Han," Tsunade called softly, looking at Luhan with complicated eyes. "Why didn't you wait for me?" Luhan looked at Tsunade with equally complicated eyes. Tsunade bowed his head slightly, raised his hand to hang the hair that was hanging on his forehead, and said, "You understand." "I don't understand." "Don't stop me from going, okay?" "I didn't say I was going to stop you." Tsunade raised his head suddenly. Luhan's face was also a little surprised. Tsunade's reaction was different from what he imagined, and he couldn't understand what Tsunade was thinking. "Let's go together," Luhan said again. Don't go." Tsunade immediately rejected, a little excited. "I'll go, I'll just go." "Matsuri Dayan, you, don't." Tsunade was afraid that Luhan would go and fight again. "I'll go quietly." Luhan gestured with two fingers as he walked, and then smiled at Tsunade. "No, not good." Tsunade lowered his head again. Luhan fiercely hugged Tsunade in his arms and whispered in his ear, "It's nothing good or bad, I won't go with you, I'll be worried." "They won't welcome you, will they?" After a day and 2 nights, the hidden village of Konoha. On the 5th day after Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed in the battle, Konoha village was still full of plain cloth, and there were countless people wearing hemp. Just like Han Guang died unexpectedly 10 years ago, Konoha village was immersed in mourning. Sarutobi Hiruzen is still not buried, the funeral customs of the ninja world are not uniform, and the burial of a big man like Sarutobi Hiruzen will be disturbed by external things. There are only 2 disturbances in Hokage's burial. One is whether the daimyo will hold a state funeral for Hokage, and the other is the time for relatives and friends who are away to come. Sarutobi Hiruzen's burial this time is to bury the body for 7 days, and it is also possible to find a custom that fits with it. Therefore, at this time Sarutobi Hiruzen's body coffin is still placed in the Hokage building's mourning hall. To the north of Konoha village, in the endless forest, on the edge. "You go in, I will go in quietly, and we will meet here after Sarutobi Hiruzen is buried." Luhan stood on a tree branch 40 meters above the ground, looking in the direction of Konoha village. "Otherwise, let's go back." Tsunade stood beside Luhan with a haggard face. "It's all here, why go back?" Luhan looked at Tsunade and touched her hair. "Don't wrong yourself, or I'll be angry." Luhan finally understood what Tsunade was thinking. He came with Tsunade just to satisfy Tsunade's wish. For Tsunade, Sarutobi Hiruzen was a person worthy of Matsuri, even though Luhan killed him. Orochimaru stood on a tree branch slightly behind the two of them, sometimes looking at Luhan's back with scrutiny. "Let's go." Tsunade hugged Luhan and then said. "Yeah." Luhan nodded. Just as Tsunade was about to move, Luhan grabbed Tsunade's arm violently, frowning. The insight map shows that there are 2 Yuhi names entering a radius of 10 kilometers from different directions. Of course, this is not a special problem. What is unusual is that these 2 Yuhi names are big Yuhi names. And even more unusual, they are all shown as white Zetsu. "Do something," Luhan murmured. Chapter 0999 _ A chance to kill Madara. Strictly speaking, the white Zetsus acting alone are not clones of the main body white Zetsu, because they all exist independently, but one thing is in line with the characteristics of the clones, that is, the ontology can control the clones. Luhan regarded them as clones, because they were not strong enough or independent enough. Yuhi names appeared on the insight map. One was moving out from Konoha village, and the other was moving laterally in the forest outside Konoha village in a cruising attitude. Luhan could imagine why they were judged as big Yuhi names at the same time. Because they are the same. The abilities are exactly the same. This is an extreme situation. If it is a normal ninja, there will always be slight gaps. There is only infinite proximity, and there is no such thing as a complete figure. However, white Zetsu clones are different. They are created, their abilities are fixed, and normal conditions even if their experiences and memories are different, their abilities are still the same. What's wrong? Tsunade, who was pulled by Luhan's wrist, asked back. White Zetsu is nearby, Luhan continued, and two. Tsunade frowned immediately, then black face, murderous. Luhan told Tsunade about the characteristics of White Zetsu and Uchiha Madara's ability to make White Zetsu, so she didn't think there was a problem with multiple White Zetsu. If Tsunade hated the most in her life, the first is Uchiha Madara, and the second is White Zetsu. It was because of them that Han Guang died unexpectedly, causing Tsunade to endure the pain of lovesickness for 10 years. Which side? We? Tsunade asked, a look of evil in his eyes. No hurry. Luhan still frowned. Luhan didn't take the initiative to kill the White Zetsu clones, because the White Zetsu clones who generally collect intelligence are too weak, killing them is worthless and a waste of time. It is easy for Uchiha Madara to create them. Of course, the enemy is the enemy, and it is still necessary to kill. But this time, Luhan wanted to slow down. Because he already felt it, Uchiha Madara is going to do something. White Zetsu clones with the same abilities in the same area. That is an unnecessary waste, and the efficiency of intelligence collection will not improve much. Now, Sarutobi Hiruzen has been dead for 5 days. The news caused a stir in the ninja world. Even if Uchiha Madara wanted to send more people to investigate, it should be clear. That day, when Luhan killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, everything was in plain sight. The investigation was very easy. Those things, some details, were not secrets and could not be concealed at all. So, if it was 3 days before Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, there were 2 White Zetsu clones here, Luhan would not be surprised. It's the 5th day, and there are 2 more, Uchiha Madara has to move. Luhan immediately thought of this funeral of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Should be in a few days. This will be a world-renowned funeral of the century. Not counting the ninjas that belong to Konoha, there will be thousands of ninjas who come to watch the ceremony, and many big people will be present, not only people from the ninja world, but also there are big figures in the mundane world. If Uchiha Madara did something at this funeral, it would be a sensation. And maybe a disaster. Luhan's face was gloomy and uncertain, and his thoughts changed rapidly. He thought of various possibilities and consequences. The reason why he was not in a hurry to kill the 2 White Zetsu clones who were in the way, but repeatedly considered the reason, he just thinking, is there a chance to kill Uchiha Madara? Under normal circumstances, it is impossible for Uchiha Madara to visit Konoha in person. Even if he wanted to make a fuss about Sarutobi Hiruzen's funeral, he would leave it to Black Zetsu. However, if something that Uchiha Madara is extremely interested in appears in Konoha village, then everything is possible. Luhan knows what Uchiha Madara is most interested in now, and that is Luhan himself. What? Tsunade asked with a wink. It's alright. Luhan let go of Tsunade's wrist. His eyes flashed. I'll handle White Zetsu. You go directly to the village, and this. Luhan waved his hand, and a figure appeared beside Luhan out of thin air. A mysterious person with the exact same body shape as Luhan. Puppet Faceless. Let him protect your safety. Luhan said to Tsunade, then looked at the faceless man. Faceless, protect Tsunade. Anyone who does substantial harm to Tsunade will be killed without mercy. Yes, Lord Hangwang. The faceless man took the order. According to the rules, neither the faceless man nor the barbarian shield soldier can perform tasks alone away from Lu Han, and must be on the same battlefield as Lu Han. This time, Lu Han asked the faceless man to perform the task of protecting Tsunade. The area is in Konoha village. Lu Han also here, in the same area, is also eligible. Han, I'm afraid. Tsunade wanted to refuse, but his eyes glanced back and forth between Faceless Man and Lu Han. So similar. A mysterious faceless person who enters Konoha is likely to be mistaken for a cold light, and there is a high possibility of causing trouble. Understands Tsunade's worries. She doesn't want Lu Han to fight with Konoha again. No matter how dead people are, the right or wrong of individual people can't be borne by thousands of lives. Well, so, Lu Han thought for a while and said to the faceless human, "Take off the mask." After the faceless man took off his mask, he revealed a face without facial features, which looked a little scary. Okay. Lu Han looked at Tsunade again. Go, I'll keep watching you in the dark. Tsunade smiled reluctantly at Lu Han and kissed Lu Han's lips again. Watching Tsunade leave, the faceless followed her closely, and Orochimaru followed a little further behind. It wasn't until they sneaked into Konoha village that Lu Han retracted his gaze and disappeared. Northwest of Konoha village, in the forest. The white figure moved at a high speed in the bushes, and a figure suddenly appeared above it and cut it down with a knife. The white figure was crushed by the light of a knife. One more. Few minutes later, in Konoha village, in a small alley in a civilian area. The white figure standing in the shadow of the tree at the entrance of the alley was about to move, but stopped in horror. Lu Han, who appeared in front of him out of thin air, had no expression on his face, tapped his hand on the scabbard, and said nothing, then turned around and left. He didn't kill me. Hangwang is coming to Konoha again. I have to report it to Madara-sama. Chapter 1000 _ You shouldn't come. Deep in the village of Konoha, the core residential area not far from the Hokage building. In the quiet courtyard, the weeping willows in front of the door have sprouted. 2 solemn guard ninjas stood around the door, motionless like sculptures. The trained guards passed by the door every 10 minutes. On the building, there are always shadows shaking. It's heavily guarded here. Since the death of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the security level of this small courtyard, which was originally an important protection area, has been raised again, reaching the highest level. Because this is the residence of the actual ruler of Konoha village today, the owner of this small courtyard is named Kaharu Udatane. At the turn at the end of the corridor, Kaharu Udatane hurried over surrounded by more than a dozen guard ninjas, and beside him, there were several Anbu ninjas. How is Minato? Other injuries on Mr. Minato's body have been healed, but the muscles and bones in his hand were injured and the meridians were torn, so I'm afraid. Is it really incurable? Not necessarily, but the medical ninjas in the village currently do not have the ability to cure Minato-sama. The doctor invited by Daimyo said there is a way, but the treatment cycle may take 3 years, and what else? The medical department has consulted many times, and they have always believed that there are only 2 known ninjas who can quickly cure Minato-sama. Who else but Tsunade? Cold light. Isn't the daimyo here yet? It is expected to arrive in the evening. What about the embassies of various countries? The Kingdom of Wind, the Kingdom of Water, and the Kingdom of Earth have all entered the territory of the Kingdom of Fire, and there is no news from the Kingdom of Thunder and the Kingdom of Iron. When will the First Legion come back? Maybe 5 more days. Okay, you guys go. Kaharu Udatane had already walked to the door of the courtyard and waved back several Anbu ninjas. The other guards also stayed at the door. She pushed the door into the courtyard by herself and closed the door with her backhand. She leaned against the door and let out a long breath. Tired face. She was so tired. Sarutobi Hiruzen's death, and the burden was on her shoulders. She not only had to make quick decisions about the big things of the war, but also the small things, taking care, Homura Mitokado, although she seemed busier than her. But there is no pressure on Homura Mitokado, the pressure is all here on Kaharu Utatane. There are two biggest problems in front of her now. The first is the war. Although the war has been temporarily truce, all parties are watching, and a mission has been sent to attend the funeral. Even Iwagakure village has sent a mission. However, after the funeral, the fiercest war is bound to start. Second, the question of Hokage's successor. Today, Namikaze Minato is widely expected, but he is injured, or even disabled, which is very troublesome. Kaharu Utatane has even begun to consider the possibility of Jiraiya succeeding Hokage, but Jiraiya is clearly unqualified. He is a good war ninja, a good task performer, but lacks the ability to be a leader. Although Kaharu Utatane and others can assist him, it is not so good after all. The courtyard was silent, it was a sunny morning, but Kaharu Utatane felt no warmth here. After walking through the courtyard alone for a month, he stopped in front of the flower bed at the door and glanced at the flowers that were wilting because they had not been watered for a few days. I will sleep for 2 hours, remember to wake me up at noon and prepare lunch. Kaharu Utatane, who hadn't slept all night, gave a few words to the outside world. After hearing the response from the dark, she closed the door, rubbed her forehead to go to the stairs to the second floor. Lord Kaharu. A soft call suddenly sounded from behind Kaharu Utatane. Her body froze suddenly, and then she turned around abruptly, looking at the figure who appeared silently at some point. Tsunade. Squeak, squeak. Kiba's sour sound came from the stairs, and Kaharu Utatane turned to see that Orochimaru was walking down the second floor. Immediately afterwards, Kaharu Utatane looked at the corner of the room. She had just swept the corner of the room. There was a person standing there. In a trance, she thought it was a cold light, but it was not. A faceless person, and the saber was not surprising. Blade doesn't seem to be human. What are you doing? Kaharu Utatane asked seriously, but his voice was a little nervous. With this situation, she had to be nervous. It was Han who sent me here, Lord Kaharu, we have no ill intentions. Tsunade smiled reluctantly at Kaharu Utatane and said sadly, I just came to say goodbye to the teacher. Han said, Lord Kaharu will understand me. Kaharu Utatane's face was surprised at first, then calm, and finally relieved. Of course she understands, because she knows why Han Guang and Sarutobi Hiruzen are fighting for life and death. He understands Han Guang's anger and Sarutobi Hiruzen's difficulties. She also knows Tsunade's feelings for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Women always understand women better. You shouldn't have come, there will be a lot of people who don't welcome you, Kaharu Utatane sighed. I know, Tsunade smiled bitterly. Is he here? Kaharu Utatane asked again. Here, but he won't show up, Tsunade said. Kaharu Utatane was obviously relieved. Tsunade appeared in public and she could still settle the riot, but if it was cold light, it would be completely useless. The key is that Han Guang is not the kind of person who is willing to bow his head. Minato is seriously injured, Kaharu Utatane said, clenching his hands subconsciously. I can take a look. Tsunade didn't refuse. Somewhere in the ninja world, a dark underground cave. Hangguang has returned to Konoha again. Uchiha Madara, who was sitting cross-legged in front of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, had a gloomy expression. Kill one, keep one, and let me know that he is. He's provocative and will sabotage your plans. Black Zetsu said coldly. No, Han Guang is not so superficial, my plan, compared to. Uchiha Madara's eyes flickered. His thoughts were very fast at this moment. He understands me, although he doesn't know why, but he seems to know everything about me. He should understand me. What do you want most? Black Zetsu's expression moved slightly, and then he said, he wants to lead you over and led you to show up. Yes, he wants to kill me, ha. He wants to kill me. Uchiha Madara suddenly became excited, even laughed, suddenly got up and looked back at Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Then I'll go to Konoha and see.